Zhuo Fan's sundering sword just smacked him in the face for laughing too hard. When a divine weapon has more sense than its master, the cultivation world is about to get interesting. Leave a like and subscribe before the next sword hits him. Taking a closer look at the black sphere, he noticed energy swirling within, like the primordial energy that made the world, followed by endless stars surrounding it. His mind felt like he was in a vast and endless world, aware of his insignificance in the face of such a universe, an ant squashed by forces unseen. He was jolted to his senses the next moment, sweat trickling down his brow. His heart was filled with fear and unease. His pride and arrogance as a human was squashed then and there. Yun Shuang said, "Big brother Zhu, are you all right?" "I'm fine." Easing a breath, Zhuo Fan stared at the black ball. "Senior Sovereign Yun, how do I use your treasure?" The sovereign smirked. "Figure out yourself. No matter who or what you're looking for, this world bridge will help you. That's all I had to say, boy, you can go." Sovereign Yun flicked his hand and an astral wind sent Zhuo Fan flying. Yun Shuang started, "Big brother Zhuo." "Shuinger," Sovereign Yun shouted, as did Yun Shuang. She turned back and said, "Patriarch, I'm about to fade away." Sovereign Yun turned transparent, yet he smiled. Since ancient times, this trace remained because of Worldbridge's help. All I've been doing was waiting for a man to appear to give it to him. Now that time has come and I shall vanish. The rest is up to him. Don't let it all go to waste. The voice faded as well in this dark place. With a boom, everything collapsed, turning into fading glimmers. The sun shone within, revealing just an ordinary cave. "Patriarch," Shuinger lamented, bowing at the deep cave before leaving. With a start, Zhuo Fan plopped on the ground, thrown among rocks and kicking up dust. Finally straightening himself, he said, "I was clearly in the mountain and now I'm at its foot. The senior sure doesn't see his guests out." "Talk about rude, big brother Zhuo." Shuinger came over and saw him covered in dust. "Are you all right? Patriarch's dismissal can be a bit harsh." Zhuo Fan patted the dust off his clothes. "It's fine." "But are all sovereigns like that? Do all of them have weird hobbies?" Shuinger giggled. "Big brother Zhu is going back to Sacred Domain. Can you take me along?" "Why, you need help and I can lend a hand." "Oh, that." Zhu Fan hesitated, put on the spot. "Peak Genesis stage isn't bad, but I know you're bad at fighting." "Sacred Domain is too." Shuinger was firm in this. "Don't underestimate me." Shuinger's eyes shone an eerie blue and an astonishing power came out. With rumbling combing from everywhere, the entire mountain range crumbled on the spot. But it wasn't due to the shaking, it was because it was flattened. Zhuo Fan felt heavy as well and sank into the earth. Everything in 100 miles sank 300 meters. Shuinger stopped and looked in pride. "Well, big brother Zhuo, that's a third of what I can do. I refrain from flattening 1,000 miles around since there are people living here, and that's not even my special skill. You're practically a different person after receiving Sovereign Yun's guidance." Zhuo Fan's face twitched. "But why didn't your patriarch train disciples to protect your clan?" Shuinger shrugged. "Patriarch cared for the world. He only waited here for you to give you something. He doesn't care what befell the clan or how it fares. He only taught me because he sensed your aura 100 years ago and wanted me to help you." "I see. But why would he help me? Is it because of the sovereign path?" Zhuo Fan frowned, looking at the black ball in his hand and then patted Shuinger's shoulder. "We'll meet in Sword Star Empire's capital in 20 days. Don't be late and don't tell the Luo clan. You're not taking them. What's the point of being in so much danger?" Zhuo Fan sighed. "They are kings in the mortal domain and have a stable position. They should enjoy retirement. By going to Sacred Domain instead, they will have to start over, facing danger upon danger. In short, there are many horrible men there and even more hidden experts unaccounted for. I even feel scared. Taking them along will make it hard to protect them." Shuinger nodded and sighed. The two returned to the Luo clan and stayed for a few days, meeting old friends from Western lands before leaving for the Empire's capital. At that time, a dozen days passed already, with most of the people Zhuo Fan gathered already there. Gu Santong and Kaior were obvious, with Yi Lin and other Dharma kings, Bali Yuyu, Bailey Yulei, and Bailey Jingshan present as well. Even Murong Zhu was going. "Miss Murong, you're coming along?" Zhuo Fan asked. Murong Zhu nodded. "My sight has broadened and I wish to see the upper world if you don't mind." "I don't, not since you're your brother's problem now." "If he doesn't mind, why should I? Ha ha ha." Zhuo Fan came before the Thunder Pavilion. There was not a trance of lightning as before, turned into an average place. That was because a month back, Zhuo Fan threw a casual seal over it when he was here. Glancing at the bowing Wu Randong nearby, Zhuo Fan said, "After we leave, you are to watch over the mortal domain. At my signal, activate the second array." "Got it." Krista Clearl, "Palace Lord, the Empire is gone and my hatred has quelled. I only wish to fulfill the Palace Lord's orders." Wu Randong bowed sternly. Zhuo Fan nodded and made a sign. The space around them rippled. World's arts combined, seas of spiritual clarity. "Aid me in activating the array. Open the path to heaven and guide me on my journey." Boom. Every land began shaking, the sky filled with the cries of the frightened. The tunnels dug throughout the lands and packed with sacred stones intertwined as they activated and linked the 5 lands into one gargantuan array. Wuxia white pillars shot into the sky from the former beast-taming sect. Violent and volatile power gushed from it, racing through and into the array dug underground, all the way to the imperial capital. Russell more pillars of light shot out from Ultimate Clarity Sect, North Sea, the former Flying Cloud Manor, and more. It was like they connected heaven with the earth, unleashing tremendous power. The people near these locations blanked out on the spot. Even Genesis experts could barely breathe from the pressure. They could barely crawl on the ground, horrified at the development. 7 pillars in all, scattered throughout the 5 lands, rose into the air. The thick spiritual energy from the sacred domain came pouring in from the world wind tunnels, fueling the huge array and coming to the imperial capital. Dragon Ancestor roared in joy, ha ha ha, at long last the time of our freedom has come, ha ha ha. Finally completed. The kid is about to return, ha ha ha. Safe travels, old friend. In the All-Beast mountain range, vaulting Kun Peng felt the spiritual energy around changing and saw the 7 pillars of light with a wide smile. It all went according to plan, a plan in the making for eons, ha ha ha. Whoosh, all that power focused in one area. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone and made another sign as he pointed. All paths converge, ascension path open, boom. With one last strong worldwide shake, the Thunder Pavilion let out its own white pillar into the sky. Boom, the heavens above then manifested a dazzling light, the same one that was calling the spirit King Bailey Yushin. The path to the sacred domain was finally open. Drip, the earth shook and water dripped inside a dark prison. A weary middle-aged man sat on a filthy bed, bleak and forlorn. Crack, noise came from just outside, with a man bowing, "Greetings, your majesty." Open the cell? Yes. A man in royal garb stepped in, looking at the prisoner in ruined clothes. "Imperial brother, did you hear? That's the sound of old friends leaving, but even as the ruler of a nation, I still had no suitable parting gift." "Who is leaving?" The prisoner looked up, staring at Tianyu's emperor, Yuan Kong. Yuan Kong sighed. "My sworn brothers, of course, Zhuo Fan and the Luo clan. They're going to a bigger world and reaching new heights we could never even dream of. I can only stay here and wish them safe travels." "Ha ha ha, for your majesty to come see a traitor in person, is it just to show off?" Yuan Yang mocked. "I sided with the Sword Star Empire, the greatest power, only for Zhuo Fan to later destroy it. Now you have caught me and must be mighty pleased. Now there's no chance of me fighting back. I am at your whim to kill, to maim." Yuan Kong looked saddened. "Second brother, to be honest, I'd have truly removed you if this happened 100 years ago. But now everything changed. I felt my power waning with the Luo alliance hanging overhead. I've been depressed and forlorn, but then Luo Yunhai returned to me my full authority. I thought I'd be happy, but all I found within me was an endless void." "Void, yes," Yuan Kong sighed. "What's so great about imperial power when all is so futile? For this power I killed my elder brother, harmed my father, and then became a puppet just so that someone would throw me back out like trash. The moment the power returned to me, I cried, 'What the hell is this?' Kings and officials, fathers and sons, tear at each other, and for what? So that one man can stand alone in the cold, harsh emptiness." Yuan Kong teared up, leaving Yuan Yang in shock. "Yes, just what is authority to make me, the foolish and chubby third brother, so ruthless to kill our father and first brother, then hunt you down as well? Second brother, I am confessing here, but you shouldn't pin everything on me either. It was in fact the crown prince who killed our father then. I only joined later and killed the crown prince on the charge of patricide. The crown prince killed our imperial father? Don't spout nonsense. Why did I hear then that you killed them, teaming up with the Luo clan to take power? That's the truth. You're my prisoner, so why would I bother making everything up?" Yuan Kong sighed. "Imperial father drew outsiders to fight the Luo clan and set the stage for the crown prince's death, also he could leave the lands to me. In the end, the crown prince struck first, the Luo clan had shockingly won, and with them in the shadows, I became their puppet emperor. If it weren't for the Luo clan, it still would have been me who inherited it. For imperial father never planned on giving power to the crown prince." Yuan Yang's face shook. "How can that be? I thought you killed them and I've always sought revenge. When the imperial members vie for power, who doesn't seek revenge?" Yuan Kong sighed. "Everyone went insane, trying to cull everyone outside of their control. Be it our imperial father or the crown prince who won, neither would have let you, the imprisoned second brother, free. I as well was a threat to the throne and removed." Yuan Yang squinted in a daze, then he slumped powerlessly. "What have I been doing this last century then? Helping those trying to kill me for revenge? Ha ha ha. Guard, release Yuan Yang." Yuan Kong shouted and a soldier obeyed. Yuan Kong gave him a long look, then smiled. "I had a drink with Zhuo Fan a few days ago and realized a problem. He never cared for power but winning against the world. We fought hard and bitterly but won the rights to a life of solitude. Second brother, the other lands condemn their traitors, with Shangyuan Feiyun, Bu Xingyun, and the others having a sordid end. You are still my second brother, my only remaining brother. Zhuo Fan had been a true friend to give you to me, and none other cared much either. Now Yuan clan has another member left alive. Yuan Yang could finally move and doubted, aren't you afraid I'll come back to fight you? Fight me. I'm but the lord of a third-rate empire, while you climb to be a valued minister in the Sword Star Empire. Why would you come after me? Yuan Kong mocked, turning to leave. Zhuo Fan left, Luo clan left, all old friends left. I have no brothers, and I'm going to live a life of solitude. And with your crimes, even if I succeed the throne to you, would the Double Dragon Manor agree? If you can take down the Double Dragon Manor, why come for my throne then? Funny, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Yuan Yang's eye twitched as he watched the emperor leave. Nothing mattered in the end. It's all nothing but pure bias. Why even fight anymore? Ha ha. Yuan Yang walked out with a hunched back, feeling like centuries caught up with him. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan finished the signs and regarded the light pillar. He turned to the others. This is the path to the upper world. Follow me. Once we arrive, you have to listen to all I say, lest you get on someone's bad side and never see the light of day again. Yes, everyone shouted. Yilin took the first step to Zhuo Fan. Big brother, isn't it a recoil array to break open the mortal domain? Why did it change into a path of ascension? What about Master and others? They'll wait for a bit. Zhuo Fan squinted. Yilin, do you have that much trust in those old bones' words? All we got from what happened is from their mouths. Who can prove it's real? Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, emphasizing every word. You saw every aspect of humanity in the Five Lands War and can tell. Central Area defeating the Four Lands did not mean their destruction. Four Lands defeating the Empire didn't mean Central Area's fortune. Each power fights for itself. There's no morality involved, no good, no evil. By letting those old monsters go, can you guarantee it won't blow up in our faces? Yilin frowned in hesitation. Zhuo Fan had a grave look, putting a hand on his shoulder. We'll go first to see the situation in the sacred domain. If it's like those guys said, I'll give Wu Randong the signal and he'll activate the recoiling array to free them. But if it's a lie, painting themselves as victims, for their sake and that of world peace, they'll be locked up for the rest of their lives. Don't give me that and get a move on. Zhuo Fan pushed and threw Yilin into the pillar, gone before he could scream. Zhuo Fan turned to the rest, beaming, who's next? Me. A roar of anger came as a girl flashed in his view. Zhuo Fan started, why young miss, what? You foul cretin, you're taking off again and leaving us behind. And no, it's just that there isn't suited for you. Big brother Zhuo, no matter what you say, we agreed to stay together. You have no right to slip away. Luo Yunhai smiled, look, I've brought the whole clan to fight alongside you. Li Jingshan's venerables appeared, Li Jingshan and the power couple, as well as thousands of Genesis stage veteran soldiers. Even Luo Sifan and the brats came. Zhuo Fan shook his head, aren't you afraid of leaving the Luo Alliance's core empty? No, out with the old and in with the new. Luo Yunhai waved, we built the Luo Alliance here, then we can do it again there. Big brother Zhuo, I'm still young and have ambition. I fear nothing. Let us do this together. Yeah, Steward Zhuo, let us follow you. The others shouted their agreements. Zhuo Fan sighed, yet he felt gratified inside. Just as he was about to speak, someone pushed him into the pillar. No more talking. Let's all go. Someone held Zhuo Fan and dragged him inside the pillar with a sweet smile. Everyone vanished one after the other. Wu Randong made a sign when he was alone, and the gaudy pillar of light faded away. The other 7 pillars in the 5 lands followed suit. Wu Randong smirked, looking at the sky. Take care, Palace Lord. Until next time, brother Zhuo. Wu Qinkyu and the others watched them go from a distance with cupped hands. I really want to go as well and see the wider world outside, but you had sect matters to attend to. I also have my clan to consider as well. Shangyun Qingyan shrugged. What's more, we have to watch over the grand array. He took a century to set up and receive him at any time. He gave us harsh warnings about this. It may very well be related to his survival. Wu Qinkyu nodded and smiled. Yes, he has a lot of trust in us, with his life even to give us such a task, to cooperate with Devil Palace in guarding the grand array. We are not about to let him down, ha ha ha. The others smiled broadly. While they watched Zhuo Fan go, filled with respect and trust in Ultimate Clarity Sect, the dragon ancestor blinked at the sudden disappearance of the light pillars. What the hell, the mortal domain isn't open yet, so why did it stop? Then it hit him and he raged, rotten cretin, you have the nerve to throw us away? Just you wait, you're going to pay for this. We'll wreck you so hard you'll come back crying, begging us for help, curses. He left for good this time. In the North Sea, heaven sealing Sea Owl peeked his head out of the water, sensing the world settling, shaking his head in boredom. Boy, take care. Who knows when you'll be back? The huge head dipped back under the water. Being around Zhuo Fan for 100 years made him recall those ancient times he interacted with humans, filled with warmth and joy. Now he was back to being alone. Whoosh, the mortal domain's people each had their thoughts regarding Zhuo Fan's leaving. But in the sacred domain, in a scorched area, a beam of light appeared and people walked out of it. The thick spiritual energy slammed into their face, flooding their every fiber and making their yuan qi run wild without even focusing on cultivating. They all were left speechless. Is this the world the patriarch wanted to see? It's incredible. The degree of spiritual energy here is scary. No different from a sacred stone mine, no, 10 times denser. With the sacred stone mines sealed off, the amount mined was very little for everyone to enjoy. But here and now, this was a cultivator's paradise. Everyone was overjoyed, with Bali Yuyu giggling. Zhuo Fan, is this devil mound? Her joy was short-lived as she turned to him. Young miss, we've arrived. Can you let go? Zhuo Fan sighed, laying on the scorched earth with Luo Yuncheng clutching to him for her dear life. Luo Yuncheng smirked, happy to hold him with closed eyes. No, or you'll just be running off again. This place is foreign to me. I couldn't find you in the 5 lands and this will go double here. So you better stay put, for I'm not letting you go. Get off already. A dainty hand grabbed her collar and yanked her off Zhuo Fan. Bailey Yuyu looked mighty jealous. Have you no shame, woman? Throwing yourself at a man in broad daylight. He's my steward. Why do you care who I throw myself to? If you hate it so much, will engaging in such activity at night be to your liking? Damn you. That's enough. Bali Yuyu was fuming mad, but Zhuo Fan interfered. He brushed off the dust and stood up with a stern look. We have arrived, and I have to give you fair warning not to wander about and draw trouble. We can't take any of it, understand? All were just as grave as him. Zhuo Fan continued, first off, this place is called the Sacred Domain. Compared to mortal domain, everything is a few stages higher, with treasures at every step, making this place teeming with experts. I'm sure you've already felt the outrageous spiritual energy density, making it easy to cultivate. While in the mortal domain, a supreme genius of 12 achieving bone-tempering stage can be praiseworthy, and reaching the profound heaven stage would be monstrous. Here, however, radiant stage kids are running all over the place, with more talented being in the ethereal stage and the true monsters at the Genesis stage. Especially you 3 brats, listen up. Your parents might have let you come to set up shop in this great place, but this is no paradise. It is hell. Walking about as you are, any other 16-year-old will wipe the floor with you. So be careful, for those days of lording over with status and power are over. SSS, everyone gasped in shock. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. In the mortal domain we were at the peak, but here we're at the bottom, no different than common people. Zhuo Fan spoke coldly. So in the sacred domain, if you want to hold any kind of power, you need to be a spirit king at the very least. Anything in the mortal stages are ants. That's why none of us have the right to show off and must keep our noses down. Everyone grew heavy, feeling apprehension. They were among the top in the mortal domain, and now they ended up scraping the barrel. Zhuo Fan smirked, but there's no need to be discouraged. You're at the bottom because the mortal domain's conditions were too poor. Based on talent alone, you're sacred domain monsters as well, especially the Sword Kings. Reaching Spirit King's stage should be easy, taking only time. So all we need to do is endure for a while, and then we can leave our mark on sacred domain. Truly, everyone's eyes glimmered. They were all men who enjoyed status. Even though they sank to rock bottom, they now had faith they could make a comeback. What of Devil Mountain? Is it the same as sacred domain? Bali Yuyu asked, getting the attention of everyone. Right, he always says he came from Devil Mountain, so why are we in sacred domain? Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, giving a sinister smirk. Of course it isn't. Devil Mountain is but a part of sacred domain. Don't be quick to think Devil Mountain is friendly either. From now on, Devil Mountain is in fact our greatest opponent. Everyone shuddered. It's not his sect. Why? Rumble thunderclaps sounded from the heavens as lightning snaked about the black clouds. Flinching, the people panicked, but then their power started boiling like, breaking through, they all cried out. Zhuo Fan exclaimed, yes, mortal domain was not just barren of spiritual energy but also being suppressed. Coming to sacred domain is like overcoming all adversity, and thus our cultivation will soar. Especially a Sword King's who had been kept at the peak for too long, he'll be rushing to advance without a moment to lose. Damn it. Why is it so bad? Isn't advancing a good thing? What do any of you know? Zhuo Fan frowned hard, looking at the roiling thunderclouds. Other stage increases aside, reaching Spirit King stage means you're shedding the mortal coil being remade. That means a lightning tribulation will fall on you to rebuild your meridians and purify yuan qi. One breaking through is fine, but the issue here is that there are so many at peak Genesis stage. With all calling forth lightning, the power will multiply. The issue isn't you withstanding it, but Yunhai and the rest suffering as a result. Everyone got restless at his words, with Murong Lai saying, all Genesis stage cultivators with me will draw away the lightning tribulation. Too late. Glancing at the thundering clouds above, lightning struck nearby, leaving behind a black crater 50 miles wide. Zhuo Fan squinted and shook. Black energy came out of him, covering Luo Yunhai and thousands of others below Genesis stage. I'll protect them with my domain while you get some distance and take on your tribulation. Murong Lai and the rest shot away. But another boom sounded as lightning slammed overhead and cut off their flight. But recalling the many innocent lives behind, they kept forcing themselves to fly. Boom lightning snaked and struck down on them. Zhuo Fan held the fort, ignoring the lightning striking him as well. He worked his energy to keep the others safe. At the same time, black energy was released around, absorbing the lightning's power to increase his own cultivation. His meridians and yuan qi were being refined with every strike. He was only in the 7th layer of Genesis stage, but ever since he arrived here and felt the thick spiritual energy, his cultivation grew as well. While he was defending the Luo clan and the rest, he was also taking in the heaven's power, strengthening himself several times. With a muffled sound, he reached the 8th layer. Zhuo Fan grinned. Boom. Another lightning came down on his head and he shook all over. His demon transformation art was revved up to the max, working to remove the lightning's power, but still a fraction got loose within him, roaming through his veins and making his body spasm. Blood spilled from his mouth. He chose to contain it and endure. He could, in fact, use more of his focus to absorb the violent lightning, but then who'd defend the little guys? He could only bear it in silence. Boom, the deadly lightning struck again and again, thick as a bucket or thin as a plate, crashing down like a mountain 81 times. Zhuo Fan bore through it, and while his body smoked now, he was still fine. His meridians at least had strengthened, and his cultivation reached the 9th layer. Ha ha ha, looks like I'm close to Spirit King as well. Zhuo Fan looked at the scattering black clouds and sighed. Never mind, taking 81 lightning strikes almost burned through all my body. Taking another round right now to advance to the Spirit King level will most likely kill me. Next time. Zhuo Fan felt his aching body, but his power surged with vigor through his limbs. Only a monster like Zhuo Fan, able to fight a Spirit King, could take something like that. Other Genesis cultivators would have breathed their last around the 30th strike. Just as Zhuo Fan was about to let the others out, booming sounded again and looked up. The deadly lightning echoed in his ears once more. His brow jumped, his face twitching. You don't mean it's still coming, do you? Boom. Another explosion was his answer to that challenge as an even thicker lightning slammed into him. The dreadful power made him tremble all over as he spurted blood. What is this? That's no lightning tribulation. No such lightning has that kind of power. Zhuo Fan peered at the sky in shock, finding the thunderclouds weren't just black but laced with crimson. Soul-sucking blood lightning? This is Scarlet Lightning Valley. Looking at the burnt soil below, Zhuo Fan finally knew where he was in sacred domain. Lightning constantly struck it, and on a different level than outside this area. Each lightning was devastating in might, turning a brighter red the stronger it was. Once a red lightning fell, even a saint would have to be wary, yet a white lightning could press hard a Spirit King. That was what made this place so desolate. No one wanted to come in here just to die the next second. What's with our rotten luck? We just came to sacred domain and landed in this place. Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth. This place wasn't up to Lightning Canyon, but it wasn't far behind either. Right, Thunder Pavilion, Zhuo Fan exclaimed in realization. The 8 world wind tunnels in the mortal domain corresponded with Sacred Domain's 8 extreme locations. Thunder Pavilion was linked to this Scarlet Lightning Valley. Since they came through the Thunder Pavilion's location, they ended up in this godforsaken place. All the constant lightning around the Thunder Pavilion was due to this place as well. Zhuo Fan held his head. This is freaking fate, I tell you. The recoiling array needed to draw spiritual energy from all around. The crucial thing is balance. Its best location was the heart of the 5 lands, which was Thunder Pavilion, which made coming from mortal domain to the sacred domain always going to be here. The Scarlet Lightning Valley couldn't be avoided. Now we just have to get the hell out of here under a shower of lightning before a scarlet one drops on us. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, and a demonic sword appeared in his palm, shining scarlet. Soaring sword art, soaring heaven, Zhuo Fan slashed and a scarlet sword wave shot at the thunderclouds. Rumble, white flashed just then, striking the wave. Scarlet and red collided and dissipated, but Zhuo Fan's art remained, its power piercing the clouds and punching a hole through them. Zhuo Fan grinned, this works. Now I just have to break down the clouds and the scarlet lightning can't form. But he then watched as the clouds flickered with lightning and sealed back the hole like it never happened. Zhuo Fan's face twitched, his hand waving the sword around as he sent attacks at the clouds. I'll just have to be faster than its recovery. Boom sounded constantly, the sword waves clashing with the lightning, yet the art's power reached the clouds many times and punched holes in it. But then the lightning grew in strength, and Zhuo Fan's soaring sword art lost its advantage, until it could no longer even block it. The following lightning struck Zhuo Fan and numbed his whole body, while the holes in the sky were patched up as a trace of scarlet flashed. Zhuo Fan started, "Once they start turning red, I'll have no chance." Zhuo Fan's hands were sweaty. Ding! A ringing reached his ears and Zhuo Fan flinched. His thunder ring flashed purple and the sundering sword appeared in his other hand. "Oh, sundering sword, what are you up to?" Zhuo Fan asked. Whoosh! The purple sword released a powerful lightning wave, then took Zhuo Fan to face the heavens. Zhuo Fan blinked, but still chose to follow the spirited sword into facing this challenge. Boom! Lightning thundered, and a huge strike came down at Zhuo Fan. It even contained a trace of red. Damn it, the lightning changed. Zhuo Fan panicked, wanting to block with the demonic sword, but the sundering sword moved first, slapping it out of the way and releasing a strong purple wave. It carried Zhuo Fan's arm and struck hard. Boom! With a deafening explosion, the purple lightning wave blasted the incoming attack into harmless motes of light. The purple sword then shot into the thunderclouds and blew a huge hole in them, greatly weakening the charged lightning clouds. To the point the snaking lightning glowing red turned white. This is destruction, the power of the sundering sword art. Zhuo Fan's eyes shook. I see, the soaring sword art might be tough enough to break heaven, but clouds are formless, merely pushed back and not dissipated, letting them recover fast. But with the sundering sword art, containing the power of destruction, the thunderclouds were greatly weakened. Ding! The sundering sword hummed softly, as if to confirm his words. Zhuo Fan snickered, then, "Sundering sword, rise with me and break that lightning, tear a hole in the sky so that I can use apocalyptic thunderflame to make sure it never recovers, ha ha ha." Bam! The sundering sword put a stop to his mad cackle, smacking his head with the wide part of the blade, making his nose swell. "What was that for?" Rubbing his poor nose, Zhuo Fan snapped back, irate, "I wield you now, you're my sword. I'm your master, is that how you treat me? See how I pulverize your sword spirit." The sundering sword paused, then struck again, only this time it did on the demonic sword. Ding! Wanna fight? "Don't mess with me." The demonic sword was no pushover, reacting by floating in front of the sundering sword and taunting it. The sundering sword just stood still. Zhuo Fan said, "You're saying to put all my skill aside and use just you to face the thunderclouds?" Ding! The sundering sword shook again. "Hey, don't just ignore me. I'm made of sterner stuff, 4 swords in fact. Yet a newbie like you tries to take my place. Why should master use just you? Trying to replace me, is that it? Ha, keep dreaming, hunk of rust. In a few days you'll be a part of me, hi hi hi." The demonic sword had enough of the sundering sword's arrogance and brandished its edge, trying to pick a fight. Zhuo Fan nodded, "All right, I'll give you this chance. Demonic sword, return." The demonic sword stalled, looking stumped at his master's decision, even depressed. "Master, you already got a new flame and forgot your trusted sidekick." "I'm made of 4 blades here." Demonic sword didn't make a fuss, noticing Zhuo Fan's determination, turning into a black light and slipping in his body. Zhuo Fan gripped the sundering sword and it took him towards the sky to fight the heavens. Lightning struck constantly, yet all Zhuo Fan did was swing the sundering sword around, destroying the attacks as purple glows flared on every contact. The utter destruction of the lightning had the thunderclouds growing weaker. When Zhuo Fan used the soaring sword art, he only scattered the lightning power in the clouds, only delaying its growth and not stopping the source. Now, though, he had the means to destroy them. Boom! Zhuo Fan charged into the thunderclouds with the sundering sword, with lightning coming from all around now. "If I used Thunderflame Void Annihilation now, the clouds..." Bam! Zhuo Fan indulged in a flight of fancy, but the sudden knock to the head brought him back to reality. Zhuo Fan sighed and shook his head. "Fine, I get it. No other skills but you happy. But how is a lone sword supposed to remove all the thunderclouds in a 1,000-mile area? Time waits for no one, and once red starts appearing." The sundering sword was silent, for a lack of a better word. Then it started moving and took Zhuo Fan's hand with it. Its blade shone a deep purple glow. Zhuo Fan shook all over, as a figure suddenly appeared in his mind as he wielded the sundering sword. "Sundering, one day I will take you to the top, become the focus of everyone, ha ha ha." Beilyushin cackled among the flaring lightning clouds as he hacked at the incoming attacks with pride and arrogance. "Only I am worthy of such a divine sword, not those common folk." But Beilyushin paused, showing fear. "There will always be someone better out there. If one day someone can take you from me, it proves I'm not worthy of you, and you should have a much stronger master. He will be just like me, taking you to the top and not disgrace your sundering name of splitting the heavens. By then I shall be dead, but you must pass on all my knowledge and insight in the way of the sword to him. If I can't take you to the top, then my path will," the sundering sword shook to console him. "Ha ha ha, I'm only assuming here. Who in the world could ever defeat me? Don't worry about it, ha ha ha." Beilyushin wielded the divine sword with burning battle spirit. Zhuo Fan finally understood the sundering sword. It passed on Beilyushin's legacy. There was none out there better than Bailey Yushin when it came to understanding the sundering sword art, not even the sword sovereign. While he had made the 5 divine swords by combining their arts with the 5 sacred beasts' powers, he was not the least bit aware of what changes that brought. Bailey Yushin, however, was a man immersed in the sundering sword art all his life, having understood the core of the sundering sword art. Why else would the sundering sword's inheritance have Bailey Yushin's image and not someone else's? There had to be countless people wielding it through eons, including the sword sovereign, but only one man truly understood it. Zhuo Fan's gaze steeled, slashing around based on Bailey Yushin's example. Wind picked up and purple lightning flared as the sword fell. The thunderclouds around shone and then faded away. From just the sword's intent, lightning exploded in all directions and the world crumbled. Zhuo Fan forgot himself in this state, his form following Bailey Yushin's actions to perfection as he unleashed devastating and brutal sword strikes. By the time he finished the entire set of strikes, the sky was clear of thunderclouds and the sun shone brightly on the scorched earth for the first time ever. Zhuo Fan felt a tear come loose at the display, not due to him but induced by the sundering sword spirit having their minds linked. The sword spirit might not speak, but it could send Zhuo Fan its deep emotions. Purple flickered from the sundering sword, blending with the world's spiritual energy. Zhuo Fan saw as the sword spirit scattered its own energy to return to the earth once it passed on the sundering sword art. A true sacrifice for a true friend. With the death of the invincible sword, it wanted to follow him as well, but his wish to pass on his legacy kept it here. Now it could pass on as well without remorse. The sundering sword now became just an empty shell. Zhuo Fan reached the top. As the last purple energy faded, Zhuo Fan saw the invincible sword shout in his mind and knew it to be the sword spirit blessing him instead of its former master. Zhuo Fan smirked and nodded, like master like sword like master. The sundering sword spirit was as carefree and heroic as the invincible sword. Tracing the purple divine sword's blade, Zhuo Fan smiled and placed it in his ring, his eyes firm. I will reach the top along with your sword art. Whoosh Murong Lai and the others popped up next to Zhuo Fan. Sir Zhuo, are you all right? Yes, what about you? Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and the domain faded, revealing strong auras. Luo Yunhai's group had broken their restraints and entered Genesis stage, while the 3 kids were now in ethereal stage. Zhuo Fan nodded, turning to the Sword Kings with a glint in his eye. Murong Lai's group had been kept for so long behind that now they were at peak Spirit King stage. Even Li Jingshan and the elders reached mid-Spirit King stage. They were all thrilled at the boundless yuan qi they felt. Steward Zhuo, your cultivation fell again to the 5th layer of bone-tempering stage, Li Jingshan gasped. Zhuo Fan now focused on his own cultivation and cried out in astonishment, mid-Spirit King. Having met with lightning tribulation, the peak Genesis stage Zhuo Fan due to sundering sword's inheritance, his heart grew as well as making the true self art bring his cultivation down to the bone-tempering stage, while his true cultivation lay at mid-Spirit King stage. Though reaching Spirit King brought lightning tribulation, Zhuo Fan had been waving sundering sword around without restraint, thus he unknowingly cut his own tribulation down before he could feel it. He felt down at the realization. I missed the chance to toughen my body, but since he got a taste of the others' tribulations, his regret faded. What's the point of going through all that again when I already got a Spirit King's body the first time around? Haha, everyone, with all safe and sound and Zhuo Fan gaining the sundering sword's insight, a bargain to be honest, his eyes flashed. With our Spirit King's cultivation levels, we now can form a group. Sword Kings, having gotten a divine sword's insights, will be more than mere Spirit Kings. I dare say that we can now jump ahead and carve our own slice of the sacred domain. Come right up, top spirit ores, black crystals, and other top goods, 12th grade pills. The peddlers were shouting their wares in the market of a small town, having put them on a dazzling display for all interested parties, making this place buzz with activity. In front of the town, there was a towering guard post, with the word on it spelling Joy Town. A girl led her 12 imposing Genesis stage guards up to the entrance. She also had one thin youth right next her. The bustling little town fell utterly silent. Everyone turned their heads at the unfamiliar faces, each pair of eyes glimmering with hidden intentions. It lasted merely moments, as they all resumed the chatter and activity like the previous unnerving pause never occurred. Luo Yuncheng found it strange, giving Zhuo Fan a look, but the latter smiled as he signaled them all to enter the town. The market was just as busy as before, yet it now had a strange vibe to it. The eyes of all the people found themselves resting on the newcomers at one point or another. Luo Yuncheng was unnerved, her face grave as she clutched Zhuo Fan's hand. Zhuo Fan, this town is creepy. We wouldn't be here otherwise, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan snickered, his eyes taking in every last face around, showing the same hunting gaze as the townfolks. Zhuo Fan took Luo Yuncheng and the others to tavern and bowed. "Young miss, it's getting late. Could we rest here?" Luo Yuncheng nodded, following his intention of going inside after him. "Whence you came and where you're hailing travelers, will you be stopping by or resting?" A dolled-up middle-aged woman smiled the minute they entered, asking and scanning them like a hawk. Zhuo Fan said, "Have 5 of your best rooms ready. Young miss will take 1 and the rest are for us 13. "Oh, 5 rooms," the host looked troubled. "Forgive me, but my meager establishment does not have so many empty rooms." "How many are there then?" One isn't enough," Zhuo Fan shook his head. "We can't have young miss take it and have no one watch over her." "Young miss, let's just find another tavern." Luo Yuncheng gave him a look and nodded. "We'll do as Steward Zhu says. This is the only tavern in Joy Town. Going out to find more and you'll be left sleeping with the stars overhead." A shout came. They all jumped, looking to find a middle-aged man covered in fine attire and glittering decorations. The hostess lit up and bowed. "Steward Fang, owner, this doesn't concern you. I'll take care of our new friends." Steward Fang smiled and sent the hostess away before he cupped his hands towards the group. "I am Fang Ding, the steward of Liao clan. How may I address you?" Zhuo Fan gave a curt nod, smiling back with cupped hands. "I am Zhuo Fan, Luo clan's steward. Here is my young Miss Luo Yuncheng and her guards. Trading brought us through this area and we thought of resting after noticing the darkened sky." "Oh, you're a steward?" Fang Ding's eyes shone with suspicion. "Brother Zhu, if I may be so bold, your cultivation is a little." Zhuo Fan caught his meaning and looked crestfallen as he sighed, not willing to talk about it. Luo Yuncheng intervened. "To be honest, Steward Zhu was born with incomplete meridians, unable to compare with other fellow cultivators, but his intellect is beyond reproach. My father especially had him take over our affairs. A steward isn't a fighting role, so what's the point of a high cultivation, wouldn't you say? Ha ha ha." Luo Yuncheng held Zhu Fan's hand, giving him a compassionate pat on the hand. "Well, I'll be the pretty boy is mooching off her." Fang Ding reached an instant conclusion. A 20-something-year-old guy in the bone-tempering stage is worse than a toddler, might as well spare him from a crippled life. No matter how sharp he is up there, there's no way to become a steward. While a steward is no fighter, he is, after all, the face of a clan. He clearly curried favor to reach his position. "Humph, the kid is garbage." Fang Ding was smart enough not to speak his mind, though. "Brother Zhu, there's a master in every walk of life. Now you're a steward and tomorrow a leader." Fang Ding patted his shoulder as he laughed. "Since I find you so close and you all have nowhere to stay, why not spend the night at the Liao Manor?" Luo Yuncheng perked up, but was looking immensely gratified as she bowed. "What a great idea, but we wouldn't want to impose on your clan head. Young Miss Luo, my master, is a most hospitable person. Everyone in 100 miles knows him for his generosity. My master would help any in times of need when they knock on his door, be it stranger or fellow townsman." Fang Ding smiled. "Why else would this town be called Joy Town? I'm sure you've noticed our people's cheerful nature. This place is under my master's supervision. He is sure to go wild with joy having you staying over at his place." The hostess then giggled, coming over and complaining, "Master Liao is a man of honor and integrity. He stole so many of my guests, I'm scraping a living here, ha ha ha." Fang Ding smiled. Luo Yuncheng and Zhuo Fan shared a look, then said with respect, "Then thank you so much, Steward Fang. Excuse us for imposing. Young Miss Luo is too kind." Fang Ding returned their gesture. Fang Ding lead them out of the tavern. The hostess' face went dark just then, showing a cruel smile as bloodlust boiled in her eyes. Fang Ding brought Zhuo Fan's group minutes later to a large manor. He greeted the guards and walked in. The guards beamed and bowed, unlike any guards from the usual lording clans. Luo Yuncheng felt her hair stand on end, noticing the disdain hidden behind the facade, gripping Zhuo Fan's hand tighter. "Young Miss Luo, please wait a moment while I fetch master." In the large hall, Fang Ding bowed as he made his escape. Zhuo Fan smiled back, looking around the place. Taking a deep breath, Luo Yuncheng whispered, "Zhuo Fan, something definitely not right about this place." "Of course there isn't. Who in their right mind set up a town at the edge of Scarlet Lightning Valley without a good reason? From what I know, there's been a large war here once, turning it into a wasteland with no people or resources. Who would ever want to stay here?" Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, looking at the manor with a smirk. "The ones coming here can only be those with checkered past no one wants. They only know how to live by harming others through means no one would speak of in the open. Not even demonic cultivators dare to step in here. For all they know, that bright and cheerful smile could be hiding a bloodthirsty monster." Luo Yuncheng shuddered. "What the hell are we doing here then? Let's run before. Run. We came here to scout and check their limits so as to choose the best way to make our move." Zhuo Fan mocked, "In a lawless corner like this, just how bad could it get? He wants to be the hunter, but time will tell who the real prey is, humph." Luo Yuncheng nodded. Zhuo Fan, are we really going to steal another's turf? Of course, Zhuo Fan nodded. The sacred domain has long since been split up and the borders are not about to change overnight. For outsiders like us who want to keep low, we can only do that by assuming another's place. There's nothing remotely honorable about Joy Town, but someone still knows it. That gives us the certified identity we desperately need. In a dark room, a used rocking chair creaked as it swayed at the motions of an elderly man with white hair and a dim expression. Fang Ding bowed, clan head, I've looked into them on the way and they're merchants. The highest level cultivator is their clan head, a spirit king holding a bit of sway in a small town. They have nothing else to their name. We can begin. How are the goods? The elderly man spoke in a jittery tone. Fang Ding was solemn. Clan head, be assured they're exquisite. The young miss and the 12 guards are in Genesis stage. Only that pretty boy steward is a waste at bone tempering stage and can be ignored. Let's take a look. The elderly man coughed and walked out with Fang Ding behind him. With a light coughing, the elderly man entered the main hall. Luo Yuncheng's group stood up and greeted him. The elderly man's black and blue face, like a freak's, had the women frightened, and they let out an "Ah." Zhuo Fan squinted, sizing him up. Is my face that scary, young miss? The old man coughed twice and smiled before taking the main seat with Fang Ding at his side. The women strained to keep a straight face as they bowed. Clan head Liao, forgive our loss of composure. It's fine. I know better than anyone just how ghastly I look. Everyone jumps the first time, ha ha ha. The old man waved off their concern, then sized them up with a glimmer in his eyes. Luo Yuncheng felt a chill come over her, like she was being put on display for others to judge her worth. The old man restrained his piercing gaze and showed a wide smile. Steward Fang has been telling me young Miss Luo's father is a lord over a city. Which was it again? Magical City, Luo Yuncheng smiled. The old man pondered. Magical City is nothing special, occupying around 100 miles, far smaller than my town. Any spirit king can take the lead there. The Luo clan shouldn't be a tough nut to crack then. The elderly man continued, Magical City under whose administration? Liao clan head, please. Everyone knows the 8 emperors of the sacred domain. Half of sacred domain belongs to the 8 emperors, while the other half to the 7 sacred mountains. The bits and pieces stuck in between are at the discretion of the tougher spirit kings to fight over. They're places no one cares about, and unfortunately, housing people they care even less. Luo Yuncheng sighed. Father offered a gift at the start of the year to the Lord of Tempest City and hoped to get his recommendation to gain the Sword Emperor's help. But even the last of the Sword Emperor's 72 city lords did not deign to see us. He even threw our gift out the door, forcing Father to come back in disappointment. It's not easy to get on anyone's good graces. The old man sighed. Yes, in these times great danger awaits any who do not have a strong backer. You have managed to get a city lord position today, but tomorrow someone else will take it from you. Yes, these are harsh times, eh? Luo Yuncheng gave him an odd look. Liao clan head, I beg your pardon. What do you mean by that last part? The old man had an eerie grin. That I'm so relieved your father has no one to turn to. It'll give me that much sweeter sleep once I take you, ha ha ha. Luo Yuncheng started in shock and jumped to her feet. The 12 guards and Zhuo Fan moved to defend her. Don't waste your energy, insects. The old man sneered, and with a flick of his hand, the group felt a gale coming at them and flung them into the air. They then vanished the next second and reappeared in a place where there were piles and piles of bones. Luo Yuncheng shrieked, then looked for Zhuo Fan. Ah, Zhuo Fan, save me. Barrier. Zhuo Fan squinted at his surroundings and said, to think the town had such a place. On the surface it looked flourishing, but beneath it hid a mountain of bones. Luo Yuncheng clutched to him for dear life as she looked around in worry. How do we escape? There is no escape. Your meager strength won't ever get out of my first-grade sacred array. A laughter came from everywhere in this morbid place, and the old man re-emerged in front of them with a snicker. Fang Ding and all the town folks were here as well, laughing at the Luo clan's flustered and panicked looks. Bang! Luo Yuncheng's anger-fueled fist let out muffled sounds as it landed on the invisible barrier that's surrounding them, roaring, Geezer, let us out right now or you'll be sorry. Let you go. Why on account of your third-rate city's lord of a father? Ha ha ha. The old man cackled, please, not only do I not fear him, but would you believe me when I tell you that he won't even suspect me, woman? Luo Yuncheng's face fell, her eyes staring hard. Zhuo Fan smiled, true enough, with Scarlet Lightning Valley being so close, any disappearance would immediately think it is the main reason. Who'd ever think such a joyful little town would hide a den of bloodthirsty monsters? I must say, you're more than you look, kid. You got good eyes on you. The old man cocked an eyebrow as he gave Zhuo Fan another careful look. I can see it's not just your pretty looks that got you the steward job, so you do have skill after all. Yes, I picked this place because of Scarlet Lightning Valley offering a perfect excuse for any and all kills that I make. No one would ever think it was me. Zhuo Fan smiled. Right, you're quite cautious, looking into all travelers that reach your town. You're letting those with backing go while striking at the nameless ones. It mattered little if those little groups the victims belonged to had the power or not, especially since you have Scarlet Lightning Valley as cover. Let's say your cover is blown, but even then, as Peak Spirit King, you'd make light work of them. You've made a killer living in this place, and it's safe too. You know me so well, kid, despite being a cripple. I'm starting to like you, the old man nodded, offering, why not join me and I'll spare you. Zhuo Fan smirked. Luo Yuncheng was furious, hammering away at the impervious barrier while screaming like a banshee. You could be the lord of your own area with your strength, so why did you choose to do such things instead? Even working under the 8 emperors should be easier than attacking in the shadows. The old man gnashed his teeth, then eased with powerlessness. Because he has no other choice. No matter how much the 8 emperors love talent, they'll never take in someone who uses the soul-devouring array. They'd rather avoid repeating the age-old scenario of being hunted down by all of sacred domain. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone as he shouted. The old man shuddered from shock, glaring hard at Zhuo Fan. Who the hell are you? How do you know? As for the town folk, they were equally overwhelmed. Soul-devouring array, what's that? Luo Yuncheng frowned hard. With an evil smile, Zhuo Fan stared at the other party, opening the sordid past hidden for so many years. Soul Eater is a demonic cultivation art that took everything from another cultivator to further their own power. Only what it's absorbed also contains regret and hatred, taking its toll on the user's mind while rotting the body from the inside. Therefore, restraint is an absolute must with this method, to purge all the hatred first and strengthen one's core before using it again. That is if one doesn't want to end up becoming a walking corpse. Zhuo Fan pointed at the old man's ghastly face and laughed. The old man's face twitched, boiling mad. That's because of the art, Luo Yuncheng gasped. Zhuo Fan grinned. Yep, this is where those absorbing constantly without moderation get. Young miss, have another look at the piles of bones. He sucked them dry, so much so that the hatred and death festered beneath his skin so much that his body couldn't take it. He's a spirit king, but with a withered look, he's getting very close to keeling over. The only thing prolonging his miserable existence is doing it over and over again, which also further amplifies the problem. To survive, he has to absorb many more people, leading to more dangerous absorption. This vicious cycle would invoke the wrath of all cultivators. There's no emperor out there who would take such an unnecessary risk. It's like committing social suicide, which is why he would be hated like that patriarch, Liao Tianding, in the past. How do you know so much? The old man looked at Zhuo Fan like he was a monster. Luo Yuncheng's brow shook. Liao Tianding, an even more suicidal fool. Zhuo Fan smirked, his face grave. That guy wasn't as subtle as his grandson here in avoiding genocide. He had no qualms about killing scores of people. He was a demon among demons, the first ever to be called a demon king. City after city turned into ghost towns with their only residents being piles of bones. His frozen cultivation also jumped from spirit king all the way to saint, just short of becoming a sovereign. All he missed was a sovereign path, otherwise he would have lived forever. Too bad he first became a public enemy, inciting the wrath of the entire sacred domain's dark and white factions. For the first time ever, they joined hands in destroying him. It ended with his death somewhere around Scarlet Lightning Valley, here in fact. His clansmen then vanished into thin air, never to be found. Not that it mattered, since this art was something only he knew and it died with him, but by the looks of things he had passed it on. That's why you're all so sneaky in setting up a town here. The old man's face twitched hard, overwhelmed at having his secrets spilled. He pointed a shaky finger at him, stammering, Who the hell are you? How do you know a 10,000-year-long secret? 10,000 years, Zhuo Fan mused. That bastard got me killed around 5,000 years after the Great Battle. I see, so that means that my rebirth through the 9 Serenities' secret records took me 5,000 years. The old man roared at having received no answer. What are you? Why do you know? Because I was there as well. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone with malice. The old man gave him a baffling look. No, impossible. Just how old are you? How could a mere bone-tempering cultivator have been in that battle? Geezer, I have to say, your patriarch was insufferably arrogant and died, while you have learned from his lesson and kept your head down. It's a real shame how much you've fallen. You are now in the presence of the head of the 8 emperors in. Your sword, Emperor Ao Changshan? The old man cried out. Zhuo Fan's face sank. Since when did that old coot take the throne? I am demonic emperor. Demonic Emperor Zhao Chen? The old man didn't know restraint, crying over and over and cutting him off. Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth. Geriatric fool, are you even listening? In the battle to hunt Liao Tianding down, that rotten punk hadn't even been born yet. I'm the head of the 8 emperors of that time. Has there ever been a demonic emperor as the head of the 8 emperors? The old man blinked, looking utterly lost. Zhuo Fan's face twitched and sighed. Old man, how old are you? Over 3,000 years. I see, Pipsqueak, you truly deserve getting killed. Zhuo Fan laughed. You've only come 2,000 years later and you've already forgot my name. That's a death sentence right there. Then again, you ought to die regardless. Being so obscure, so withdrawn from society, with no friends or relatives in the world, no one would even notice your passing. You're practically made to die. That first reason only made it more obvious. Everyone sank in confusion. Zhuo Fan snickered. I'm saying that I'm copying your style and killing all the insignificant targets to replace them. From now on, Joy Town will be the Luo clans and you will sink into obscurity. What? They all stared blankly, then cracked up. Ha ha ha, take our town. Who do you think you are shouting such idiotic dreams as a bone-tempering cultivator? Just because you know some old events, you think you can play the senior to intimidate us. Can't you even tell your stage? A bone-tempering cultivator gets 2 centuries at best. Who are you trying to fool by saying you were there 10,000 years ago? Hee brat, you almost had me with your big talk, but you're now in my trap and I will suck you dry. Yet you still have the nerve to say you'd take Joy Town from us. What a joke. Everyone laughed, looking at Zhuo Fan with nothing but scorn. No matter how much of a smooth talker you are, you should never say such idiotic things. Even calling yourself some long-lost third cousin of an emperor's second sister would have been smarter if you wanted to live. At least that would intimidate us enough to get you released. But that brash talk. No one's going to buy that obvious lie. Bam! A sudden explosion rang in their ears even as they laughed, cutting it short soon after. The soul-devouring array had just gone from pristine to total destruction in just a moment. In its place were black flames licking at the edges. Their smiles got frozen on their faces and their laughter got stuck in their throats. Their eyes were the only things betraying the fear and shock they felt inside. Zhuo Fan's left eye flared with the black thunderflame, his smile insufferable. Sorry, but I'm no comedian. I only know how to follow through with what I say. You're doomed. Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and a black wave shot into the sky, followed by a loud explosion and a shower of black flames. Who terrible energies drew near the town folk, enclosing them and the sinister town beneath the joyful facade. A spirit king, the old man gasped, his mouth trembling. 1320. How in the hell did so many of them come here? Who have we messed with? Sensing all those raging energy signatures, and none of them on his side, the old man was in despair, with the other struck with dread. Just what emperor had they irked to send so many spirit kings to their little town? Mommy, who the hell are they? Is this an entrapment? The old man was a wreck inside, howling, everyone run. We can't take them, just run. A boom cut him off and the sky above roiled with black flames. Fang Ding and all other town folk got reduced to ashes. The old man shook all over, turning a stiff head at Zhuo Fan to see him smirking, flooding the space with your power and controlling it. You're a spirit king as well, you got that right. Zhuo Fan grinned, raising his hand and shouting, die. The old man gnashed his teeth, roaring, I'm a peak spirit king. You won't kill me by being in the same stage as me, 1,000 soul possession. Wraiths howled and the air grew cold as they flouted into existence. Despite having the space under his control, the wraiths still appeared. They didn't get to survive for long, as the black flames burned them down to nothing a second later. The old man was dumbstruck. What the hell is this? I'm at peak Sword King stage, so why on earth are my actions so damn useless? Geezer, you may be higher in cultivation than me, but I trump you in quality, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan grasped and black flames howled on the old man's side, slamming into him and covering him completely. Oggs, his mournful cries filled with pain and horror rent the sky as he twisted in futile attempt at survival. His eyes, however, contained nothing but confusion as he roared in defiance. Just who the hell are you? The head of the 8 emperors 5,000 years ago, demonic Emperor Zhuo Yifan. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, now the Luo clan's steward Zhuo Fan. You should be honored for dying at my hand. With one last cry, whether in regret and defiance or maybe even fear, the old man breathed his last and his existence burned from this world. Draconic roars littered the sky as Danking Shen brought the few Luo clan spirit kings from the north side of town, killing their way in. The dragon and sword energies flared unrestrained and took down all people that tried fleeing this disaster. From the south side, Bali Yuyu turned into a demon, spreading death and destruction with her rain of swords. Murong Lai was in the east, standing guard and unleashing hell with his flames. Ouyang Lingshan came in from the west like an ice wall, freezing anyone that tried getting out and turning them into crystallized works of art. As howls and cries of agony resounded, the town's population was purged with the closing of the net. By the time the mortal domain residents entered the town proper, there was nothing but blood and body parts all over. Murongzu felt it unbearable and searched for Zhuo Fan. Are these people as bad as you thought? Are their crimes so heinous? Ask her. Zhuo Fan shrugged and walked to the others, shouting, clean up the place, it will be our home for a while. The men cheered and started working. Murongzu turned to Luo Yuncheng, having more pressing concerns like morality. Luo Yuncheng gave her a smile as she explained what happened. Only then did the woman's worries ease. The town cesspool of pointless killing. Like the saying went, evil beget evil. Though imps had no chance of fighting against the likes of a demonic emperor, Murongzu turned to watch Zhuo Fan giving orders with a smile. This demon was right, he's only going after those that deserve it. The housing was distributed according to each individual's strength, placing the Luo clan's leadership and the spirit kings in the manor. They just had to touch it up a bit first, like putting up the Luo clan signboard, marking as official the switch from the Liao clan's town to the Luo clan's. Zhuo Fan found a few hidden arrays and other secret tunnels, quite convenient in fact, such that he didn't need to make any new ones. So after he handled the basic organization, he went into seclusion. It was not to cultivate, but to fulfill the dear wish of his trusty guardian. Ding! The demonic sword made its appearance in a shower of black light as Zhuo Fan worked on setting up a refining array. It hovered about, shaking with excitement and entering the center before Zhuo Fan's even said anything. Zhuo Fan chuckled, "Blood spirit, you were supposed to be my vital blood infant, and I only let you inside the vaulting sword to keep its nature. I'm also curious to see if I can do the impossible and combine the 5 divine swords said to never be melded as one. Even if not a sovereign weapon, the union of the 5 sword arts are best suited for me. I should be the one getting excited here, so why are you so eager then? You didn't look to have gotten much out of the combination of the first 4. Ding, the sword rang, its patience non-existent as it urged him. Fine, fine, let's see what tricks you can do. But let me warn you, you better hang tight as the apocalyptic thunderflame burns you again. It won't be pretty though. Zhuo Fan smiled. The demonic sword swayed in excitement. Smirking, Zhuo Fan made the signs to start the array. Sword spirit renewal. 5 become one as a sacred weapon ascends to give birth to a sovereign weapon. Zhuo Fan's left eye released black flames, melding with the array. The air around the array warped as the black thunder flames covered it completely. The demonic sword was being cooked under the ravaging flames, shaking now and then. It was good that it couldn't speak, or the room would have been echoing with its screams of torment. Zhuo Fan held out the sundering sword, now without a sword spirit, and threw it in. Crackling sounded as the demonic sword and the sundering sword melted and slowly fused. Demon transformation art, Zhuo Fan shouted and released a flood of black energy into the array. The black smoke engulfed the crackling flames, and as the last wave of black smoke came, it enveloped the 2 swords in darkness. The array turned into a black cocoon, with black energy swirling around its outer layer as explosions of thunder and flames echoed from within. Taking a deep breath, Zhuo Fan observed every little change in the array, his heart tense. He had never heard of a sovereign weapon even existing or anyone attempting to refine one. Although he was piggybacking on Sword Sovereign's 5 sacred weapons, he lacked an ounce of confidence. I just can't tell what will become of the fusion of the 5 sacred weapons. Will it be as before, just adding another sword, or will it go through a change? Uniting 5 sword arts has to be at the level of Sword Sovereign's sword path, right? I'm really looking forward to it. Zhuo Fan stared hard at the writhing ball of darkness, pacing around and sweating out of anxiety. Time slipped away and flashes kept coming from within. Only about 8 hours later did they show signs of growing weaker. The flames were strong still though, while the sword was nowhere in sight. The only reason he knew it was still there was because Zhuo Fan's life was connected to the blood infant. After much hesitation, Zhuo Fan reached out, hoping to peer inside. But what if the fusing is at a critical point and my interference would ruin it? So Zhuo Fan halted, pushing down his curiosity and waited. It took 3 whole days before Zhuo Fan ran out of patience, with the ball showing no obvious sign of stopping in the meantime. Just as he was about to stop the array, the black ball gave a mighty shudder and caused the ground to do the same. Zhuo Fan almost fell. Boom, even the sky started rumbling and warped, with some strange cloud forming as if in a frown. Plop in the 7 sacred mountains, an old man with white beard was perusing a script in a refined pavilion. The world then shook around him, the peak itself as well, and the sky showed multicolored clouds. Everyone cried out, "Why is this happening again? Didn't this end with the one 100 years ago? We didn't even get to understand that, and now another is coming. This is different from the last." The old man floated and turned to the others. "Look, a century ago, we couldn't even use our cultivation, unlike now." "Oh, that's right." The other elders floated at once and could finally stand upright, but the sky's changes had them confused. "It's unlike last time, but still quite similar." Pa, in a small bamboo house, a chess piece landed on the board as he turned to look at the sky outside. After so many years, someone challenging the sovereign stage appeared. "Who?" Another man spoke in a rough voice. "Do you remember the one who has the highest chance of dragging down a sovereign? Patriarch Blood Demon." He had a shot but not his own path and was unable to advance. No matter how strong, he was still no match for a sovereign. Only, another piece fell on the board and the man said, it can't be said the same about his blood infant. A spirit. Yes, spirits are born in this world, within the scope of the 10 paths, with none having its own true path, yet having the chance of forming a sovereign path. Once one has this, one can gamble with a sovereign. If the blood infant stood independent, that's not possible. Who would just let their vital blood infant fly free? The other man denied it. The first man lay another piece and sneered. Yes, one can't gain without giving up first. This was the reason why that old man could never match a sovereign, but that's in the past. There's no sovereign path appearing, yet the change is still here, showing that someone out there has the potential. I wonder who. Is it one of his friends he brought along? Perhaps. Ha ha ha, how amusing. The mortal domain is filled with talent. The more barren a place is, the more miracles it enjoys. Boom, the shaking kept up for 6 hours. From his room, Zhuo Fan had no way to see the changing skies, looking startled as he stared at the black ball, afraid of doing anything and ruining it all. The black ball began hissing and shrunk down to just half a meter in size, revealing a strange shape that made Zhuo Fan tense. As the ball shrank even more, the shape became clearer. Zhuo Fan's eyes jumped wider as the black ball vanished. What was revealed was a thin 7-year-old child with a darker skin tone dressed in pitch-black robes. The ball shrank only because he was absorbing it. Zhuo Fan was struck dumb. Master, the child was so sharp that he kneeled and cupped his hands. Zhuo Fan's eyebrow jumped, staring hard at him. Master, then you're my vital blood infant. Yes, thank you so much, Master, for giving me such a strong body and offering me a vessel. The kid grinned and said in gratitude, after the 5 sacred weapons combined, I became a sovereign weapon, and sovereign weapons can take human form. This is the reason behind my appearance. I shall never forget your grace and favor for as long as I live. The child kowtowed 3 times. Still out of it, Zhuo Fan mumbled to himself before snapping out of it. A sovereign weapon taking human form, which means that you, as its sword spirit, are now this body's soul. I see, so that's why you were so eager to combine with the last sword. It was a way for you to become human. The child scratched his head, laughing at being found out. To be honest, Master, humans are the ultimate beings of the world. All spirits aspire to take human form, to live as they do, to dance, laugh, speak, and create. However, becoming human is fraught with dangers and perils, doubly so for spirits who are less sentient than even common spiritual beasts. I was fortunate enough that Master gathered the 5 sacred weapons and merged them, thereby creating a sovereign weapon and giving me the means to become human. I have you to thank for all of this, Master. The child kowtowed again, filled with gratitude. Zhuo Fan pondered and then sighed. My vital blood infant, you were once, but now we've grown apart like our ties have been cut. No wonder you no longer need me to survive, as you now have a sovereign weapon for a vessel. Master, you have built me this body, making you my parent. How could I ever abandon you? Reading between the lines, the child puffed up his chest as he declared, henceforth I am your sword, guarding you and never leaving you, just like old times. The only difference is that I can now exchange actual words with Master. The child shone and turned into a pitch-black sword, floating towards Zhuo Fan as it glittered. Unlike its previous form, when it had a trace from every sword, all signs of the other swords were removed by adding the 5th one. Zhuo Fan paused before growing solemn. You have your own body and your fate is yours to decide. You have finally gained freedom after following me for so many years. Are you content with never wandering the great world outside? Just tell me the truth. We've been so close for so long, so I won't make it hard for you. Master, your cold treatment is because you don't believe me or that you don't believe yourself. Whoosh, the demonic sword turned back into a child, his gaze firm. Zhuo Fan paused and found it to be the same look he had. I am Master's vital blood infant and never had a sense of self, my survival depending on Master. Only with time have I gained a personality within you, Master. That means all my habits and quirks have come from you, even your heart. I am another Master while you are yourself. If Master owes no favor, does that mean I do? Master is giving his all to help the Luo clan, and I will give my all to be at your side every step of the way, nothing more, nothing less. Zhuo Fan jerked, giving him a long look. Everything this child knows comes from me. He's like another me. I am never one to be an ingrate, and neither is he. He is a replica of my own personality, so what's there to doubt? He ceased to be my blood infant, but became my strongest companion, a loyal guardian sword. Zhuo Fan smiled. Then you will be my sword child guarding my side. Yes, Master, Sword Child nodded with a bright smile. Zhuo Fan nodded, then paused, giving him an odd look. Sword Child, would you still be loyal to me even with all the heinous and treacherous acts I'll be doing? Oh, that, like I said, I learned everything from you and I am just like you. You betray, then I betray. Or maybe, even if you might not let me go, I'll just off you and go my way. Then I'll do the same as you, resort to heinous acts to get what I want. It's that simple, SSS Zhuo Fan gasped, his heart shuddering, then he patted his chest. All right, at least I'm a man of principle and won't stoop so low and wallow in filth. Or I wouldn't just be losing a divine sword, but gaining a powerful enemy. Zhuo Fan walked out, his thoughts racing, trying to recall if he had ever betrayed himself. The kid better not have copied that as well and treat me the same. Talk about getting what I deserve. Sword Child beamed behind him, though he was a little restless. Sword Child, how is your strength? Before refining, I've been growing alongside you. If you got stronger, so did I, therefore I am a mid-stage spirit king like you. Oh, then do you know any special skills? Don't tell me you know all of mine as well. No, I can't use Divine Eye of the Void nor the Apocalyptic Thunderflame. Though I took all of the 5 arts you comprehended and combined them into a sixth, the Apocalyptic Sword Art. Zhuo Fan talked while walking. I need to be cautious not only against enemies, but also taking precautions with myself. It's a must. The two left their room and met with the Luo clan's higher-ups waiting at the door. Seeing Zhuo Fan come out with someone half his size left them stunned. Hasn't he been in there for 3 days? Why is there a child by his side? Did he make him himself? That's no laughing matter. Like 3 days are enough to bring a child into the world. It takes 10 months at the least. Knock it off. You think that's the problem, how a man birthed a child that grew up so fast? Maybe there's a hidden tunnel in his room through which the kid sneaked in. Not possible. I've been on guard every minute on the hour ever since Steward Zhu entered seclusion. There's not a fly going past me without my knowing, let alone a child. Everyone started a heated debate over this very crucial topic. Zhuo Fan snickered. What are you all doing here? Did something happen? Steward Zhu, the world started shaking and the sky changed colors. We came to see if you were fine. Li Jingshan bowed. Zhuo Fan waved his concern away. I'm fine, so you can return. Our cultivation has been soaring recently and needs time to stabilize. After that, we have big things ahead of us. We know, they all nodded, with no plan on leaving. Their curious eyes glued to Sword Child. Catching on to their obvious curiosity, he made the introduction. He's my personal guard, the Apocalyptic Sword Child. Personal guard? They all started. Steward Zhu, you need a guard at your level. That means he can't be too far behind your strength. A pipsqueak. Yeah, Dad, if you really wanted one, pick me instead. Gu Santong gave Zhuo Fan an odd look. Bang. Zhuo Fan knocked on his head, chiding, you dare say that about others. Which 6-year-old, I wonder, lorded about in Tianyu like he owned it. How is that the same? I'm a killin. Gu Santong puffed up his chest in pride. Pa. A dark and thin palm landed on his shoulder. Young Master San, a spar will make everything clearer. Ha ha ha. Gu Santong shook, meeting a pair of black eyes and an evil smirk. Mommy, he has the same look as Dad. Is he some long-lost son out of wedlock? Gu Santong jumped in fright. Place your bets, no take-backs. The Joy Town that had been bathed in blood was once again filled with noise. Only this time, it happened 100 miles outside of it, in a valley. Qiu Yanhai even had a stall set up as he shouted, we're all friends here, people, so don't be shy and place your bets to make this place livelier. Our young Master San has a 1-to-3 odds, and on the other side we have Steward Zhu's secret guard, the Apocalyptic Sword Child, 1-to-5 odds. All bets are now open. People already gathered around and started taking out all their valuables. The stall was packed with pills, spiritual weapons, and all kinds of super rare ingredients. With a bang, a large scarlet wine jar creaked the stall's boards. Everyone knew then and there who was the weirdo behind such an exotic bet. Qiu Yanhai's face twitched, turning to the wine sword immortal's red nose. Senior, while I did say there's no limit to make it livelier, but you can't just take out some jar of wine. That's like 10 spirit stones, tops. You call this 10 spirit stones. What you see right here is an aged and fine wine of the Murong clan. I made the trip to their home just to get it before coming with you all. It's always on high demand. The only reason I'm willing to part with such a great wine is seeing you all so fired up. Wine Sword Immortal patronized. Qiu Yanhai shook his head. Fine, I'll write down 10 sacred stones on account of your seniority. Now who will you be betting on? Isn't it obvious? Steward Zhu's young Master San. The Wine Sword Immortal chuckled. With all the action going on so far, everyone knows of Gu Santong's strength no less than ours. And since we've gotten to the sacred domain, everyone reached the Spirit King stage while his power had to have improved as well. As for that Sword Child, he doesn't look like much, so I'd rather be on the safe side and stick with young Master San. Everyone nodded in approval. Rather than taking a risk on an unknown fighter, they'd play it safe by betting on Gu Santong. A zither then slammed on the stall, followed by a casual voice, I'm betting on Sword Child. Liu Mubai, the Wine Sword Immortal, gave him an odd look. You know his strength to bet on him. Liu Mubai snickered as he shook his head. Nope, but for Zhuo Fan to make him a personal guard, that should be proof enough, right? In fact, I find young Master San awfully rash for taking on his challenge just like that. Knowing the enemy is what gets you victory. While he is an open book, the opponent is sealed shut. That's why the sword child has a higher chance at winning. Makes sense, exactly what I'd expect from the Zither Sword King who bid his time to exact revenge for his clan, calculative and observant. The others lit up and switched their bets from Gu Santong to the sword child. The wine sword immortal licked his dried lips as he moved his wine jar as well. Liu Mubai, I'll trust you on this, but you better pay me back if I lose. Sure, and my zither is also among those bets, ha ha ha. Liu Mubai didn't mind it, looking at the fighters on their peaks with a smile. Ever since the empire fell, he had felt so relieved having his wish granted and also brighter in his demeanor. On the side where there was constant cheering, Zhuo Fan, Luo Yunhai and the rest were standing on a hill and watching the two filled with battle lust. Luo Yunhai said, "Big brother Zhuo, who is the sword child, can he take on young Sanzi?" "He should," Zhuo Fan said. Young Sanzi became an early-stage spirit king after coming to the sacred domain, but the sword child is my demonic sword transformed with half my skills. In fact, he should have all my skills besides my eyes. He shouldn't lose out against young Sanzi. What? They all shouted. He's that divine sword. Sure is, and precisely because he's not human but a spirit and a sword, we can't see his cultivation. Zhuo Fan nodded. In his words, he's the same as me, a mid-stage spirit king. As for his strength, we'll just have to wait and see. Letting young Sanzi fight is the perfect chance. The others nodded, with Kaior sadly staring at Gu Santong. Brother, do be careful. The kid is father's sword and not human. In a fight between a divine sword and sacred beast, victory might not be so easy. Gu Santong was totally in the dark about his opponent's nature, judging him by his young appearance that he was still too young. If he's a sacred beast, his form means he's not matured yet. If he's a human, then that makes him weak as a lamb. So he boasted, "Kid, we're on the same side, so I'll give you the chance to walk away. I won't judge you for it, nor make it hard on you for father. Young Sanzi, you're as cocky as ever." The sword child smirked. "Even as a sacred beast, you're now in sacred domain and only an adolescent. There are plenty of people that can kill you. I'll just help father by giving you a fair warning, so the next time you go out, you'll be a bit cautious and not lose your life." Gu Santong shook, giving him an odd look. Is he really Dad's son? His tone, his style, his arrogance, they're practically the same. All the others gave Zhuo Fan strange looks. "Steward Zhuo, that's a miniature version of you in child form." Zhuo Fan smiled. The sword child had taken everything from me, resembling me more than a son. Gu Santong saw no reaction from Zhuo Fan and made up his mind. It doesn't look like the kid is close to Dad and I can set him straight. He put on a mean face and smirked. I could accept it coming from Dad, but from a pipsqueak. It sounds more like a taunt. We'll see who beats who soon enough. Gu Santong shot forth and his fist glowed scarlet as he struck at sword child, though it was obvious there was some restraint, leaving a third of his strength behind. Though Gu Santong still thought it excessive and brought it down to just half his strength. "Young Master San, just let loose and come at me with everything. I can easily take it." The sword child smirked, his eyes set as a red glow shot from his finger and at Gu Santong's fist. Whoosh, a sword wave sword. It clashed with Gu Santong's first, letting out a deafening boom. Gu Santong shuddered all over and got pushed back 100 meters. His gaze now horrified as he turned to sword child, soaring sword art and at peak strength. "How do you have such power? Only Dad can unleash it to this level." He inherited Steward Zhuo's sword skills fully, worthy of being his sword. Shangyun Feixing's eyes shook in admiration. Zhuo Fan grinned. He was connected with me body and mind till now. It's normal to know the 5 sword arts, and from what he told me, he also learned a 6th one. Now that's something I'd like to see. 6th, Shangyun Feixing and the others nodded. Right, with Steward Zhuo learning the sword arts to the peak, his divine sword spirit has to be even sharper, able to combine the 5 arts. Now I'm also looking forward to seeing it, ha ha ha. They all laughed, looking eager as the battle unfolded. At the betting stall, all those who were about to bet on Gu Santong shifted to the other guy. "Qiu Yanhai cursed, what do you think you're doing? Have you no ethics? Saying you'd take it and leave it, but now that young Master San is lacking, you switch tunes? Fat chance. Damn it, I only lost that exchange and now they've all lost their faith in me. How mortifying, I got to up my game." Gu Santong's face twitched hearing Elder Q's shouts, anger getting to him as he shot for sword child. "Lousy brat, I was going easy on you, but no more. Get ready, ha ha ha." Gu Santong's hands shook and struck at the air. Boom, it felt like the world was collapsing as the air warped from all the shaking. It got so strong, black scars appeared in space, spreading fast towards the sword child. The cracking sounds jarring to the ears. The audience gasped. The space fractured. Doesn't that mean letting a scar touch you would tear you to pieces? This is too much. Gu Santong's past attempt with this move only warped the air. Now though, he was at the Spirit King level and could warp space. Space was the place where everything existed. By rupturing it, then the space being occupied would be torn to shreds. Steward Zhuo, it's turning deadly. Everyone turned to Zhuo Fan. He was still just looking with a smile. The kid ain't human, making no difference even if the sky got torn apart, the others exclaimed. But of course, he's a divine sword. The space rupturing won't affect him. Condensed, the spatial crack struck at the sword child like a viper, the blackness therein promising to swallow him whole. Sword child couldn't care less, evident by his smirk as he shouted and flicked his hand. A cold wind blew and the encroaching scars slowly lost their speed until they froze in place, with a trace of ice even revealed on them. Gu Santong gasped, heaven-sealing sword art. Ha ha ha, yes, I am Master's sword, any sword art he knows, I know. That's why, young Master San, feel free to come at me with everything. The sword child smiled, finally going for Gu Santong. He waved a finger and flames exploded into an inferno. The black gaps in space merged with the flames and slowly healed. With the path cleared between the two, the sword child had an easy time shooting for Gu Santong's face to poke him with a crackling finger. Gu Santong's face twitched and stepped back while using his fist to defend, decimating sword art and sundering sword art. How is it you know all my dad's 5 sword arts to perfection? No son could ever do so much. Who are you? I told you I'm Master's sword. Bam! Gu Santong unleashed his full power at long last, his fist sending a scarlet wave that struck at the purple thunder sword wave. The intense clash had crushed 40 mountains around the area to dust. Gu Santong shuddered, forced to step back from the aftermath. The sword child laughed as the shock wave came, pointing at Gu Santong. I am a divine sword in body, not of flesh and blood. I don't fear my insides getting jolted, not when I haven't got any. That's where a sacred beast differs from me, vaulting sword, dragon soar. With a draconic cry, the sword child pressed his advantage, sending another sword wave with his finger. This time, Gu Santong barely got himself steady to brace for impact. All he could do in the end was punch back. Bam! Gu Santong's hasty punch lacked his full power and was once again pushed back. The sword child smiled, standing still. Most cultivators would try to settle the rattling inside them before the damage mounts instead of unleashing strikes so fast. I don't have such a problem. I could hound you and kill you in just 10 moves, all while you couldn't even defend. The outcome is clear and there's no point of fighting, ha ha ha. What a deadly sword. The audience gasped in shock. Steward Zhuo, a humanoid divine sword, is so dangerous, bereft of weaknesses. His body is even stronger than a sacred beast, unheard of. Zhuo Fan nodded. Yeah, even I didn't think young Sanzi would lose so fast. That's why the sword child was so thankful for me refining him such a body. As a divine sword, it's truly godlike. I wonder if there's anything out there that can hold him back. Zhuo Fan mused. He has everything I have except for the eyes. Everyone was grave. The sword child is simply monstrous. But what if he turns on us? He called himself Zhuo Fan's sword, but that was a weapon in the end, one that had no will but to follow its master's intent. But with the kid as he is, Steward Zhuo, he's got your smugness to a T. Lang Wucheng pointed out, though he looks rather young and youngsters tend to have overblown egos. Zhuo Fan nodded. Yes, he's just like me. Only that in my early years I was restrained, more ruthless than brash. He has no constraints, and while he is a second me, we will most likely walk different paths and he needs someone to watch over him. Brilliant, Steward Zhuo, Lang Wucheng nodded. Zhuo Fan's eyes turned frosty as he observed the fight. Gu Santong was a powder keg ready to pop from being pushed around so much. He roared then, and in a flash of red, the image of a 300-meter Qilin appeared overhead. Its roar shaking the world, the spirit kings felt their hearts seize from shock. Young Master San wants to go all out, making everything shake. Can the sword child take it? I'll just bet this wine jar on young Master San. Wine Sword Immortal got shocked as well and switched his bet again, with many others following him. Only Liu Mubai and a few others were relaxed. Wine Sword Immortal, you're gonna be sorry. Check out the sword child's look. Wine Sword Immortal turned and only now noticed that despite Gu Santong raging and roaring, the sword child held nothing but disdain in his eyes. Young Master San, since you don't know a helping hand when you see one, you leave me no choice. The sword child's eyes shone and raised a finger. A black power gathered. You went all out, so you should have a look at my 6th sword art, apocalyptic sword strength. The prideful Gu Santong's eyes shook, unable to take the other's naked taunt. He roared and his power surged before he punched with both fists. Lousy brat, have a taste of this upheaval, a soaring Qilin's might. The piercing howl rang in everyone's ears as the Qilin image opened its maw. It then shot for the sword child with fury burning in its eyes, ready to burn the world if it had to. Come on, the sword child snickered, the black sword wave ready as he struck. It was anticlimactic how plain it was launched, with no fuss like a breeze tracing the air. The sword wave, however, erased everything in its path, even the dust from existence. The sword wave looked flimsy by all accounts, yet it struck fear in the hearts of all who watched. It was not total destruction and explosiveness that was scary, but the silent yet decimating moves that could take lives without leaving a sign. Zhuo Fan was out for 2 seconds before he came to and understood the gap between the fighters. Sword Child, stop this right now. Too little, too late. The black sword wave reached young Sanzi's killing image, but there was no bang, not even a fizzle. The black wave passed through the image, making it pause before fading away, purged from this world. Young Sanzi coughed blood at the backlash, looking pale, but the black wave was coming with death behind it. Young Sanzi panicked, everyone panicked. This is fatality. Sword Child, didn't you hear me? I told you to stop, Zhuo Fan shouted in anger. Sword Child's brow shook and gave a cruel smile at the panicked face with no intention of stopping. The space started warping then, with the Sword Child at its center. He looked back at Zhuo Fan with a frown, only to see his cold gaze and the 7 golden halos in his right eye. Master, don't, Divine Eye of the Void, 7th stage, Void Seal, Zhuo Fan muttered. Whoosh, the space contracted, and the Sword Child shook as his eyes went blank and collapsed. He turned back into the pitch-black sword with a dim glow. It showed no signs of being alive. The black sword wave coming at Gu Santong faded away just in time as well, making him breathe easier for having escaped with his life. That strike is deadly, no less than Dad's apocalyptic thunderflame. Fan walked over to the apocalyptic sword and picked it up with a sigh. You really are me, but only the young me, twisted, conceited, and obnoxious. Ha ha ha, foolish boy, you thought by having a sovereign weapon body, I couldn't take you on. The 5 divine swords were affected by the divine eye of the void, and this form isn't any different. Think long and hard about this. Zhuo Fan made a seal and the demonic sword entered his body. And you, young Sanzi, there's always someone better than you out there. This will be your lesson. Zhuo Fan walked to Gu Santong and warned. Gu Santong hung his head, giving a heavy nod. I know, Dad. I won't be as arrogant again. You've said that 100 times already. Why would I believe you this time? Ha ha ha, you'll learn the more you suffer. Zhuo Fan shook his head. The others came over and bowed. Steward Zhu, how will you handle the Sword Child? He's a loose cannon. I'll handle it, don't worry. Zhuo Fan soothed their fears. With these few days of peace, we've found a temporary residence in the sacred domain. To grow bigger, however, we must first take down one of the 8 emperors. That being said, I'll be setting out to get a feel of the sacred domain's current situation to remove all unknowns. Wait for my message and be ready to move. Won't it be too dangerous to go alone? Yeah, I'll come with you, Luo Yuncheng spoke up, with Bali Yuyu stepping forth. Zhuo Fan calmed them down, it's fine. The sacred domain is my world. I know it better than any of you. I have enough strength to survive even an encounter with an emperor. Rest assured that I'll be all right. Shuinger, come over for a minute. Zhuo Fan called Yun Shuang to remain after the others were now at ease and whispered, did you finish what I asked you to do? Did you divine her location? Yun Shuang's brow shook. For some reason, I am blind to Sister King Cheng's fate just like yours. Patriarch said that you lost something. Did you give it to her? Can it hide one's fate? The sovereign path? Zhuo Fan squinted and asked ardently, how else am I supposed to find her? Where do I start searching the big sacred domain without so much as a clue? Shuinger bit her lip. Forgive me for being unable to help, but what? You alone can find her. Me? Yeah, I know nothing of reading the stars. Didn't Patriarch give you something? It will guide you towards what or who you want to find. Slightly explained, Patriarch also mentioned that what you're looking for is yours. The two of you would be drawn to each other. By using the item, you'll find it in Sister King Cheng. Zhuo Fan thought for a bit and nodded. I see, Sovereign Yun gave me the black sphere for this purpose. But how do I use it? Figure it out yourself. I surely don't know, Yun Shuang shrugged. Zhuo Fan sighed and nodded, his eyes blazing with determination. I'll try it as I go. Now I need to get away so the fear of the Sword Child caused will fade. I must also teach that boy some manners. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands to her and the rest, leaving. The others gave him a respectful goodbye as well, while only a red-nosed old man just wouldn't let go of a jar of wine, crying like his parents were dead, like an old woman. My precious wine, I could never leave you. How could my foolproof mind ever conceive the risk of betting on Gu Santong? Senior, betting is business. You made the wrong wager, so I can't help you. Now let go, the wine sword immortal wailed like a child while Qiu Yanhai fought to try and pry the drunkard's fingers from the jar. With their gap in cultivation, no amount of effort helped in the end. Zhuo Fan's face twitched and gave the two geezers a long look. What was I thinking bringing these fools? Zhuo Fan left as the rest sent him off. After a good distance, he looked around and found a deserted cave, setting up an array to hide himself as he took out Sovereign Yun's black orb. Looking into the sacred domain situation was more of a whim, while finding Chu King Cheng was his real goal. He couldn't have said that to the guys, since they came with him to a new world to settle down, not help him find his woman. How could their de facto leader ever do such a petty and irresponsible thing? When they found out he was up to no good, going on a hike, they might just as well go out and meet their fortune elsewhere. A remarkable leader had to, at all times, inspire fairness and grandeur. As for looking after my family and other private stuff, that goes behind doors, hee. Taking out the black orb, Zhuo Fan stared hard. King Cheng, where are you? And how do you start this thing anyway? Sovereign Yun, what a guy, giving me the tools but not the manual. Where do I even start? Zhuo Fan whined. As he stared deep into the orb, his gaze grew hazy and the darkness inside the orb swirled, pulling him in. Zhuo Fan shuddered and his eyes went black. He plopped on the ground with eyes wide open, coming to his senses the next moment, only to find himself surrounded by stars in a black space. Stars flew by him so close he could reach them with his hands. Where am I? What am I doing here? Zhuo Fan jerked around and then recalled. Sovereign Yun's place was the same. My mind must have entered the orb. Is this how you use the treasure? But how am I supposed to find her now? Zhuo Fan frowned, looking up at the glittering stars in doubt while he paced around in thought. Yun clan's holy maiden can read the heavens through the stars. Sovereign Yun reads mortals' fate through the stars as well. Maybe to find King Cheng, I have to understand the stars' motions. Should I go to Shuinger for tips? But it looks more like a trait than an art. Yun clan's leader is the only one able to do it. What to do? Zhuo Fan stared at the sky in a dilemma. His face began slacking as he took in the stars' glows, noticing something peculiar. Kid, humans are the ultimate beings of the world, the basic of all other things. Humans hold 360 small cosmoses within that work in tune with the universe. Each person has a protector star. When you observe the skies, you are in fact looking at their fate. Your eyes do not see the starry night sky, but the universe's cycle of reincarnation. To find what you seek, use your heart and you will grasp it. An aged voice whispered in his ears, making his heart jump and focus harder on the stars. Zhuo Fan stared blankly, ignoring everything, time itself, as he gazed upon the stars and their movements. His yuan qi began moving along with the stars in strange and baffling patterns. At one point, he realized the stars melded with him. Looking at the stars was like looking at his body's innards. The flow of blood, breathing, all made his organs shake, understanding it all. I want to find King Cheng. As he grasped everything, his heart throbbed and the stars followed his wish. His senses perceived as the brightest 9 stars formed a line, shooting eastward. 9 stars in a row, deceiving the heavens and changing fate hidden from a sovereign's power. She's in the east. Zhuo Fan lit up and shook awake. He got up and found the black orb at his side. Putting it away, Zhuo Fan was in high spirits as he shot out of the cave. He noticed it was dark then, with the stars in the sky being the same ones he saw in the orb, and the brightest 9 forming a line. Was it the black orb affecting the stars, or did they reflect what was in the black orb? Or maybe Zhuo Fan was controlling them? Confused, Zhuo Fan felt stunned. Hot damn, I advanced again. I'm now a late-stage spirit king. What's more important was that his surface cultivation level had dropped to the first layer of bone tempering stage. My heart grew once more. Whoosh beneath the sunny and clear sky, Zhuo Fan darted across the land, his eyes holding a strange light as he used the stars to be his guide. Glancing at the sky, he squinted and smiled. He was getting close to the last of 9 stars' position, close to the one he wished to see. Zhuo Fan got excited. Ever since he saw the stars inside the black orb, he felt odd, like there was something connecting him with every little thing in the world. He could even see the stars in broad daylight. Senior sister, Master had us take the purple gold glazed cup and meet up with Senior Ant's group in Mist City for a treasure competition to make sure we get our hands on the map to the Nether Sea. But I just don't feel right leaving junior sister behind all by herself. And why not? That dumb girl is as plain of talent as she is of strength. Not just I, but even all of you are stronger than her. What's the point in bringing a dead weight? She's just relying on Master's favor to come along and get a share no matter how much in the wrong she is. But Master said so. Quiet. That sickening girl must have strung Master along with her sweet words. All she's good at is sucking up. There's no way I'm about to share credit for such an important mission with her. We'll just say she was too slow and couldn't keep up. Their nagging echoed through the thick forest, reaching Zhuo Fan's sharp ears. Nether Sea, isn't that the Nether Sovereign's place? Although I've caught a glimpse of it in the mortal domain's whirlwind tunnels, I had no idea how to enter it. But could such a map be real? Zhuo Fan paused and rushed over to the forest. He got his clothes in order and casually walked through the vegetation. Russell, who's there? A sharp cry came as 6 sharp swords glinted as they shot for the bush. Zhuo Fan felt their bloodthirst before he saw their faces. Zhuo Fan snickered but still faked panic. Wait, I lost my way and don't mean any harm. Zhuo Fan rushed out of the bush, shaking in fear. Before him were 6 pretty girls, all perfect beauties in their own right, yet their cold eyes ruined the image. They sized him up and noticed him in the bone tempering stage. They sighed with ease, and the leader, their senior sister, mocked, "You're so old yet only in the bone-tempering stage. Never knew someone like you existed in sacred domain. Humph, so weak, and yet you're wandering around a forest. A spiritual beast might pounce on you at any time and leave only your bones behind." Very true. I also know this is dangerous, but I have to earn a living. There's nothing else I can do besides picking herbs, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan gave a silly laugh, his face foolish as his sharp eye inspected their cultivation. Oh, 3 spirit kings, 1 mid-stage, 2 early stage, with the rest being at peak Genesis stage. Quite a strong team. Zhuo Fan snickered and bowed again, pretending to be confused. "Mrs. May I ask you what is up ahead? I've been in this forest for 3 months, unable to come out. A mere bone-tempering cultivator got what he deserves being stuck out here when you can't even fly." The senior sister relished in his predicament, with the other girls shooting him mocking smiles. She said again, feeling proud for some reason, "Boy, you're better off turning back before you meet your end in this forest. And don't go any further, lest you want a painful death." "Why, ahead is the Ruby Cloud sect," the senior sister sneered. Zhuo Fan exclaimed, his face sinking. "I was wondering why this place felt familiar. It turns out to be close to the Ruby Cloud sect. Humph, I've been following the 9 stars for so many months, ignoring the places I pass, also I can find my wife." Oblivious to his reaction, or better yet, never even registering anything about Zhuo Fan's person, the senior sister arched her slim eyebrow and kept on patronizing him. "You must have heard as well of my sex rules. Any man that dare come uninvited is to have a fate worse than death. Dying in a spiritual beast's mouth is heaven compared to that, so be smart and get lost, Humph. Haha, you think I don't know that? Who doesn't know of those old biddies and their menopause?" Zhuo Fan snickered inside, showing a weird smile on the outside. "Does that mean you're all Ruby Cloud sect disciples?" "Yes, scared now." The 6 girls thrusted their chest out in pride, their eyes holding nothing but loathing. "We're on a mission right now, and even though we're on a tight schedule, you should be honored for us to look after a nobody like you. If you had met our master, hee. Clang. Zhuo Fan's smirk grew wider, clenching his fists. "If I really had met your master, it would have been really bad indeed. As for you," Zhuo Fan's killing arm gave a cold aura. "Senior sister, please wait up." A gentle voice sounded, and a girl of around 20, dressed in white, huffed as she entered their sights. "Just another corpse." Zhuo Fan huffed inside. The others were annoyed. "How did this girl even follow us? She's worse than a ghost." "Senior sister," the girl giggled as she landed on the leader's side. "Why didn't you wait for me and went ahead?" "I could hardly keep up." The senior sister rolled her eyes in disdain. "Junior sister, the road is dangerous and we didn't want you to tire and meet with danger. You should go back. Master cares for you so much and won't punish you for returning. Just say that I told you so." "Senior sister, don't say that. We're close sisters and I can help you when you're in trouble. It's also my very first mission outside the sect. I can't just fail it." The girl was quite lively, totally oblivious to her senior sister's disdain. She was like a sheep raised in the pen that had never braved the dangers of the wild outdoors. Zhuo Fan snickered, giving her a long look. "Your senior sisters only think of you when they say you should stay in the sect. The world is fraught with dangers, ha ha ha." Zhuo Fan clenched a fist behind him, his eyes gleaming coldly. "Hey, who are you? You can also tell they're nice to me." With a pure smile, the girl turned to Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan held the same odd smile as he nodded. "Yes, they're so nice to send you to hell, but now I see you came for death yourself." Zhuo Fan shuddered just then, looking deep in the girl's eyes, and felt his heart racing. She's really plain, no amazing beauty, but delicate and innocent. Those eyes gave him a familiar feeling. The girl looked into his eyes at the same time, lost for a moment. "Have we met before?" "What is your name?" Zhuo Fan's heart jumped. "King Cheng," the girl spoke without hesitation, considering Zhuo Fan as one of her friends on the spot. "Chu King Cheng." Zhuo Fan froze as he took her in fully and muttered like in a dream. Chu King Cheng, still the same name. His numb mind looked in the distance, then turned to the girl's lost eyes, the fist behind relaxing as he smiled. "King Cheng, I found you at last." The rough hands held Chu King Cheng's soft cheeks, his eyes looking only at her and appreciating her for who she was with a soft gaze. Chu King Cheng showed no revulsion to this stranger. She felt an odd sensation inside, like she knew this man but could not recognize him. Bam! Zhuo Fan drew closer as he held that cute face, but then a palm sent him flying and into the ground. Chu King Cheng jumped and blushed hard as she recalled what happened. "Damn punk, you got some nerve going after a Ruby Cloud sect disciple. You must have a death wish." The senior sister started cursing at Zhuo Fan on the ground, about to stomp on his legs for good measure. Chu King Cheng saw it and managed to stop her. "Heavens damn it, nosy crow." Zhuo Fan's brow twitched as his anger boiled. The couple finally got together after so many years, but they couldn't even enjoy the reunion as the retarded biddy had to ruin it. Zhuo Fan wanted nothing more than to flatten them to a gooey mush. The only thing holding him back was knowing Chu King Cheng was from Ruby Cloud sect, so he took a deep breath to bottle the rage. It just wouldn't do for the husband to waste his wife's besties in a fit of fury. Why did Chu King Cheng end up appearing in Ruby Cloud sect of all places? Checking the 9 stars direction and recalling the familiar feeling he got from this girl, Zhuo Fan was certain beyond any shadow of a doubt that she was King Cheng, and not just in name either. Making a monumental effort to restrain himself, Zhuo Fan put on a pained look as he crawled to his feet. He saw the angry shrews and raised his hands in a rush to explain, "Sisters, please, the striking similarity young miss has with my late younger sister made me lose myself in emotions. It won't happen again next time. Next time, you think you can just touch a lady's face?" The senior sister was outraged, about to smash him into the ground again, but Chu King Cheng jumped in. "Senior sister, please." He must have loved his sister dearly and didn't know that he was doing something improper. "It wasn't with intention, so please don't blame him." "Humph, blame him? For what? It wasn't me who he was hitting on anyway. Since you don't care, why should I?" The senior sister flicked her sleeve with a snarl, flying away with her other sisters. "Let's just go and not waste time with that fool. She deserves being taken advantage of for falling for a rotten man's lies." "Senior sister," Chu King Cheng cried after her, but the women were gone and she hung her head sadly. She then blinked her big bright eyes at Zhuo Fan. "Did you do that because I looked like your little sister, or was it on purpose?" Under her hopeful and intense gaze, Zhuo Fan knew she was looking for comfort to justify her act of kindness. It would have been so much easier to just nod and play along. While he didn't mind with others, towards King Cheng he could lie. Now that the extras were gone from butting in, he could come clean. "No, I really couldn't help myself, but not because of my little sister, since I don't have one. It's because of my lover." Wah, Chu King Cheng went red on the spot, then she glared before turning to leave. "I was wrong about you, thinking you were nice, but it turns out you're just like senior sister said. You did it to take advantage of me and end up making them call me a fool." Chu King Cheng looked hurt, following after the women when Zhuo Fan shouted, "Wait, what now? If you try anything, you'll be sorry." Chu King Cheng paused, then looked back at him hesitantly and threatened. Her tone only made Zhuo Fan chuckle. "She's in Genesis stage and I'm in bone tempering stage by all appearances, yet she is using that shy tone. How is that normal?" Zhuo Fan shook his head, giving her a long and deep stare. "Miss, I was not toying with you, nor did I try to take advantage of you. It's truly because I see you as my lover. My wife died, and seeing you resemble her, emotions overwhelmed me." Chu King Cheng started, looking in Zhuo Fan's honest gaze, and blushed as she gave a weak nod. "You must really love your wife. Then I won't hold you to what happened." The naive young miss turned around, wanting to leave with the matter settled. "Wait, what is it this time?" Chu King Cheng paused and looked back curiously. Zhuo Fan sighed. "Miss Chu, I can tell you're a good person. Could you do me a little favor? I got lost in this forest, and could you give me a lift? Take you with me?" "You can't." I guess I can." She looked conflicted, but against Zhuo Fan's request, she just couldn't find it in her to refuse. She shyly got to Zhuo Fan's side and looked to see if the coast was clear before she reached out around his waist. I'll fly you out, Jay, just don't move." Chu King Cheng jumped and they were in the air. Pa. Zhuo Fan took this moment to reach around her waist. Chu King Cheng panicked and blushed harder. "What are you doing? Hands off." "Miss, I'm a bone-tempering cultivator and I'm scared for my first time flying." With a wide grin, Zhuo Fan took all the advantage he could. Chu King Cheng was left succumbing to his sly hand and focused on making the trip as short as possible. Pa. At one point, Zhuo Fan's head up and leaned on the girl's shoulder. Chu King Cheng jerked and cried again. "What are you leaning on me for? First time flying is scary." Zhuo Fan smiled wider, to which Chu King Cheng gaped. She was simply powerless against Zhuo Fan's slick tactics and reasoning. Despite it all, she still couldn't find a reason to hate him, taking a deep breath to warn instead, "Hey, have some manners. Try anything again and I'll drop you." This time Zhuo Fan went for the kill, moving from simply leaning on her shoulder to hugging outright. Chu King Cheng's heart was in chaos, her cheeks steaming from how red they were. "What are you doing? Let me go." "No, I'm scared of falling." Closing his eyes, Zhuo Fan was at peace holding the one person he hadn't seen in 100 years. He was too content to let go. Chu King Cheng was frantic and landed on the ground before someone saw them. She could never let her senior sisters see her like this. It was too damn mortifying. Whoosh, the two touched down, with Zhuo Fan holding onto her like an octopus. Chu King Cheng's face twitched and snapped. "Hey, we're on the ground, now get off." "No, you're lying." "We're definitely in the air and I won't fall for it, he. The young miss had met the biggest rogue of them all, with the thickest skin ever, as he used every trick to stay glued to her. Chu King Cheng squinted and huffed before she used force, throwing Zhuo Fan off hard. He landed on the ground with a bang. Chu King Cheng glared. "You definitely took advantage this time and you dare lie to me." "Young Miss Chu," Zhuo Fan dusted his clothes before he smiled. "Before I answer, would you answer me 2 questions first? Is there anyone you fancy?" Zhuo Fan went right ahead before she could reply. Chu Qingcheng shook her head. Zhuo Fan smiled. Are you engaged? Chu Qingcheng started, then shook her head. Why is he asking me this? Great. Zhuo Fan got the answers he wanted and laughed, coming before Chu Qingcheng and reached out to hug her close as he looked longingly at her. Now I'll answer yours. I did it on purpose because I like you. You have to be mine. Dong. Chu Qingcheng's mind blanked out, her eyes hazy. What on earth is going on? How am I yours just like that? She finally reacted after a few long moments and shoved him. You're crazy. We only met a couple hours ago and I have no idea who you are. I am Zhuo Fan. There now we're no strangers. Qingcheng, come with me. As if I am a Ruby Cloud sect disciple. When it comes to marriage, I have to tell my master. An old crow meddling in my affairs. Qingcheng, come with me. No one can stop us. Zhuo Fan shouted, his voice filled with power. Qingcheng gave him a long look, her eyes twitching. She then shook her head and put on a cold face as she walked away. Do you have any idea who my master is, you lunatic? Braggart, I know, one of the 8 emperors, the one called Enchanting Empress. But ever since demonic energy had affected her heart in the battle at 9 Serenity's tomb, she aged. That's why we call her the Crone Empress. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Qingcheng, come with me and I promise the biddy won't ever get to you. Chu Qingcheng covered her ears and shook her head. Be silent, don't sully my master's name. Just who do you think you are? Those senior sisters of mine are enough to flick the life out of you, let alone master. If you care for your life, stop talking. Not even I can save you then. Save me? Zhuo Fan was touched, beaming. Qingcheng, you take my side before that, biddy. That means you do care about me, so why not come with me? Chu Qingcheng hesitated. Me and my big mouth, just what was with her. Why did she blurt that out? She barely even knew the guy, only finding out his name just now. Her heart was conflicted, while her face icy, glaring back. There'd be no point in the end, not when you're using me to replace your wife. This isn't love. There's no such thing as love at first sight. Now go, I've taken you out of the forest so you're safe. Qingcheng, you have to believe me. You are my wife, not a substitute. You and her are one and the same. Zhuo Fan spoke with determination. Chu Qingcheng rolled her eyes, laughing. Sure, then chase me. We'll talk again when you catch me. Chu Qingcheng pulled a smug look like she outsmarted him, then flew away. Zhuo Fan smirked. Dear me, if you don't take me flying, I'll just have to do it myself. Everyone says flying as a couple is so much better, while flying alone is so boring, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan had no trouble going after her, treating it like a game. An hour later, Chu Qingcheng was rushing in her senior sister's direction, but having caught no sight of them for so long began to weigh on her mind. I'm not strong enough to keep up, and with that delay, I'll never catch up. Why can't they just wait for me? Fang Min, as the head senior sister of Ruby Cloud sect, you should be showing at least some remorse seeing your fellow sisters in peril instead of ignoring their fate. Hand over purple gold glazed cup, or else. A coarse laugh echoed across the sky, startling Chu Qingcheng. Looking over, she noticed in the distance her fellow sisters surrounded by 24 men in black. 5 of them were even late-stage spirit kings. As for her sisters, all were injured, with 5 taken prisoners and only her head senior sister barely hanging on. Chu Qingcheng shot straight for them, striking with a cold palm at the man's chest. How dare you harm my senior sister? Bam. The man snickered and pointed 2 fingers at her. The power between the fingers shot through her cold aura and into her body. Chu Qingcheng coughed blood, collapsing on the spot. Ha ha ha, the broads of Ruby Cloud sect are so mighty, for even a 7th layer Genesis cultivator to strike me, a peak Genesis cultivator. What a moron, the guy mocked and his team laughed. Fang Min shook her head, glaring at Chu Qingcheng. You fool, you saw us surrounded, but instead of going to the sect for help, you charged right in. You thought your meager skill was going to save the day. Senior sister, Chu Qingcheng hung her head low, the words wounding her. Fang Min scoffed and shouted at the men in black, arrogant bastards. You knew we're from Ruby Cloud sect, yet you still came for us. You've just signed your death warrant. Hee, why do you think we're masked? The leading late-stage spirit king stepped forward and shouted, we'd much rather avoid having the Crone Empress hounding us till the end of days. If you want to live past today, hand it over and we'll let you go. When we get violent, at the end there's just us men and you, girls, ha ha ha. The others laughed, showing greedy smiles. Fang Min grounded her teeth, with the other girls putting a tough front when they were all afraid of those creepy smiles. These filthy mongrels don't care. Hesitating, Fang Min was put on the spot. By handing it over, the blame of failure would fall entirely on her. But if she didn't, they would never be able to live with themselves after today. Fang Min was on the fence, weighing her position in the sect or her future. Her eyes wandered back to the depressed Chu Qingcheng and lit up. She shot before her and threw a prismatic cup to her. Junior sister, take this and run. I'll hold them off. You can't let me down, senior sister. Run, Fang Min shouted again, looking ready to die for the cause. Chu Qingcheng sniffed and nodded. She took the treasure and ran. She would give her life to protect it, to repay all her senior sister's trust in her. The men in black saw her run off and shouted, "Girl, give it here if you don't want a really good time." Whoosh, the men ignored the other girls and shot after Chu Qingcheng. Fang Min gave a token of resistance, looking at the frail figure almost overrun with men with a creepy grin. "Girl, get back here." Boom. A powerful palm struck at Chu Qingcheng from behind. She tensed up and noticed him to be the peak Genesis expert she went after before. Her heart sank. Despite the peril and certain doom, she was set to carry on her sister's mission. Chu Qingcheng gnashed her teeth and held the cup tight with one hand, while using the other to launch an attack in reply. The man in black snickered, "Ha ha ha, missy, you're still acting tough after that defeat." Die, bam. All they knew was that the guy's power had the clear advantage, yet as the two of them clashed, the man in black up and got pulverized into a bloody mist, his very trace gone from this world. The other chasers halted on the spot, looking dumbstruck. No way, how can a 7th-layer Genesis cultivator be that much stronger than a peak one to kill him in one shot? Why the hell was she hurt in the first place then? Was it to bait us? The Ruby Cloud sect disciples blinked in disbelief. They knew all too well about their little junior sister's strength, and it was clearly nowhere near that level. That guy was a peak Genesis expert only beneath a spirit king. They all had suffered at his blows, yet now, everyone was dumbstruck, even Chu Qingcheng, staring from her palm to the bloody mist in shock. Was my palm that strong? This never happened before. None noticed a shadow lurking in a bush just off from the conflict, watching. An eye was particularly eye-catching, shining in 8 golden rings. Divine Eye of the Void 8th stage, blink. Zhuo Fan muttered as he put away the fingers, his smile cold. Sending a move through space, right in front of the opponent before they react, is in the realm of a Spirit King's spatial control skill. Catching anyone off guard, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan glanced at the stunned Fang Min, his face hard. This woman knew Qingcheng couldn't handle them, yet still handed over the treasure and faked holding them. What a twisted heart, she did it to save her skin and shirk responsibility for failure, letting Qingcheng take the fall. For messing with my wife, her fate is death. Qingcheng might look innocent as a lily now, but her man ain't just going to turn the other cheek. Girl, you've been holding out on me. Once the reality of the situation sank in, an aged man in black shot forth as he released his deadly aura. Never would I imagine that I'd have to step in against some lousy girls. Now it's time for you to join my brother. The man raised his hand and the air around Chu Qingcheng warped. Chu Qingcheng cried out, "A spirit king. I may be at the early stage, but I'm a spirit king nonetheless. Against a 7th-layer Genesis cultivator like you, it's more than enough. You can hide as much power as you want, but it still won't touch upon a spirit king's might, ha ha ha." The man's eyes shone with pride. Chu Qingcheng's face grew hard, her heart sinking as she took out a 12th-grade spiritual sword as she stood on high alert to all movement around her. However, the trembling gave her unsettled mind away. Deep down, she knew an attack could come from anywhere, especially since she was up against a spirit king who could control the space around her. What was she to do? She was wound tighter than a violin, tense and anxious. The men in black snickered at her being so jumpy. The spirit king laughed and grabbed, "Say good night, girl." Whoosh, the space shifted just then and a rain of arrows launched for Chu Qingcheng. She panicked, her face paling. A spirit king could attack out of the blue, giving her no time to react. She clutched the spiritual sword harder, feeling like she was about to fall. Qingcheng, her fellow sisters shouted in worry. Wounded as they all were, they had no hope of providing any help, only staring helplessly as their little junior sister was about to meet her end. Whoosh, the downcast Chu Qingcheng up and vanished from everyone's sight, leaving the arrows to miss their target. The spirit king shouted, "Where is she?" Above, from behind his cozy little bush, Zhuo Fan grinned to himself as his right eye shone in one golden halo. Divine Eye of the Void 1st stage, shift. Chu Qingcheng popped back into their sights just half a meter above the spirit king's head, looking as dull as ever. What just happened?" The man in black panicked, his eyes filled with confusion. "What was that? I had control of the entire space, so why did this chick appear next to me without me sensing her? Just who am I dealing with here?" The guy and Chu Qingcheng shared an equally dumb look of stupefaction, forgetting who they were. The rest just stared at them like statues. Chu Qingcheng's sisters were overwhelmed. What supreme skill was that? How did she do that? The spirit king clearly didn't notice her either. One senior sister cried out, "Qingcheng, now's your chance, attack." Chu Qingcheng woke up from her daydreaming at long last. Right? She couldn't get a better shot than this and slashed down. The spirit king had no way of taking on a 12th-grade spiritual weapon with his body and surviving. Chu Qingcheng perked up and went for his head. The man reacted fast, flicking his sleeve and revealing sharp fingers as they aimed to grip Chu Qingcheng's wrist. With his power, it wouldn't stop as a mere seizure of the hand, but breaking it completely. The girls sighed inside. Even with Qingcheng so strong, a spirit king still has the upper hand even at such close distance. Their gap in experience shows. Chu Qingcheng knew this as well, and her heart sank. For some very peculiar reason, though, the man's claw and the entire arm up and got flung in the air as it sprayed blood everywhere. The guy was frozen stiff with an utter dumbfounded look in his eyes. What the name of all that's holy going on here? Can anyone explain it to me? He would never get to know the truth, not like anyone here knew anyway. As he lost his golden chance to stop Chu Qingcheng, her sword came down with ease. The Sword King got split in two, his innards and spilling out like molasses, soaking the dirt in his blood and guts. His separated eyes were still as confused as before, unable to unravel the profound mystery of his death. The shock outcome was so great everyone was in denial of what they saw. Chu Qingcheng handling a peak Genesis expert was unexpected but understandable somewhat, but doing it to someone a stage above. That guy had shed the mortal coil and became a spirit king, and yet he got done in with a sword, something not even a peak sword king could do. Everyone's eyes twitched as they looked at Chu Qingcheng in fear and confusion. Her senior sisters as well were slack-jawed with popping eyes. Thump, the late spirit king and leader of the men, landed before Chu Qingcheng. While his features were covered, the cloth couldn't hide the naked bloodthirst in his eyes. Appearance is an illusion. A chick like you looks harmless as a puppy, yet a true expert hides underneath all that facade. He cupped his hands to her, shouting, "Please oblige me a few moves, young miss." He unleashed his power and the space all around started fracturing. The men in black cried out and cheered. Chu Qingcheng was shocked to the core, forcing herself to breathe under that stifling power. Even as it pushed against her, she managed to stand still. The man grew grave. "Young miss, you're not going to show your true strength. You showed great power by dispatching my people with frightening ease, yet you can't even handle my pressure." He ramped up the aura by a third. Chu Qingcheng coughed and sank to one knee, feeling like something was crushing her. The others were mocking her. "These broads are something, but not enough for our boss. He's the strongest, ha ha ha." The leader never left Chu Qingcheng out of his sight, on high alert. The two deaths before were just too bizarre. "Curses, you dare mess with my woman?" Zhuo Fan wore a cold smile. "Since you insist on wanting me to step in, then you better be ready for it." Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed in 8 golden rings. Divine Eye of the Void, 8th stage, blink. Who Chu Qingcheng felt uplifted out of the blue, the pressure gone as she stood back with ease. She was perplexed. Did he stop? Looking around, though, told a different story. The air around her was still shimmering, the grass beneath her was flattened and the rocks pulverized, yet 10 meters around her was right as rain. Chu Qingcheng was stumped. "What's he playing at this time?" The guy cracked up and looked ready to fight. "So you're finally giving your all. Let's do this then, young miss." "See that? She's standing under the boss pressure. Only spirit kings can do that." "Yeah, that's why she killed 2 of our strong men, because she's on another level. We were too careless, taken in by her average appearance when she was nothing but a spirit king expert. She must have been baiting us for the right moment to take the treasure back." The other men in black bobbed their heads, commenting on Chu Qingcheng's performance. She must be the real head senior sister of Ruby Cloud's sect to guard the treasure. Fang Min's face twitched and ground her teeth. "This lousy brat, this is absurd. I'm the real head senior sister here." Qingcheng was tense enough as it was due to the opponent's challenge, but she still raised her sword to point it at him and looked tough. "Come, I'll never hand over the purple gold glazed cup. Neither do I want you to, for it will be the winner's spoils." The leader's hand released a gray energy, his eyes sharp as they made the young miss cower. Whoosh! Before the leader even got to strike, however, Chu Qingcheng's sword acted first. A sharp sword energy went by the leader's head, striking another spirit king somewhere behind. Blood spurted everywhere as the victim was removed from this world. Ugh! The leader stiffened, frozen on the spot as if he regarded Chu Qingcheng like a monster or a creature beyond any comprehension. He had no time to even flinch as the attack flew dangerously close to his own head before taking down a brother of his. Just an inch to the side and it'd have been him instead. Gulp. The leader was sweating buckets just as he saw the young miss looking perplexed at what transpired. Her sword moved by itself. Whoosh! Chu Qingcheng's sword acted up again, sending another sword wave, whizzing past the leader's scalp to pop another spirit king into a cloud of bloody mist. Everyone shuddered as they jumped back, looking at Chu Qingcheng like she was a devil. A twitch of the sword nailed one down. Such simplistic and efficient killing was that of an expert killer. What was even worse, she was mocking their leader, the one she was actually facing, while culling them instead. Just how outrageous is this chick's power to even slight a late-stage spirit king? Is she an emperor? As blood leaked out of a slight cut on the leader's cheek, he now saw Chu Qingcheng with nothing but fear. He never saw a faster sword in his life. The girl wasn't innocent by a long shot. The strikes were shot with brutality, meant to execute with impunity. "Miss, who on earth are you?" Unable to get even his voice under control, the leader shuddered in front of Chu Qingcheng's guileless gaze. Chu Qingcheng mused, then replied according to the custom, with cupped hands, I am Ruby Cloud Sect 362nd Generation Disciple, Chu Qingcheng. May I know who you are, 362nd. The youngest, how do you have such power and skill? Incapable of getting an answer, the leader frowned in thought. He regarded Chu Qingcheng again with utter shock now. That's. A shadow grew behind Chu Qingcheng, dark and shifty, and he only realized it now thanks to his Spirit King level cultivation. The force he felt from it left him weak in the knees and he staggered back. He hastily cupped his hands. I am in awe of Miss' incredible feat of strength. We'll meet again if fate wills it. Let's go, the leader waved and was the first to flee for his life, his back soaked. The rest of his men were right behind him. The Missy must be really something for the boss to choose retreat over attacking. Chu Qingcheng was absolutely perplexed, just saluting back on reflex. Yeah, later. Humph, what frickin' later? You came for a fight, so don't think of getting out alive. Chu Qingcheng didn't care about them, while Zhuo Fan snickered from his cozy little bush. Chu Qingcheng's shadow shot out and her sword acted up again. Whoosh. A sword energy flew at the men in black, running through the chests of 3 people. Plop, they all turned to a bloody mist, all Genesis stage experts. The leader snapped at Chu Qingcheng, Miss, we never touched any of your people. We're even leaving, yet you would be so cruel as to kill us fleeing men. No, it's the sword. Chu Qingcheng looked hurt at the accusation, lamenting as she turned to her sword. Her words got cut off, literally, as her sword had a mind of its own. Sword energy flew galore, each robbing a wail of agony from a man in black, along with his life, sending them to the great beyond. The leader looked at the heavy casualties and roared, curses, this chick is an oddity and bloodthirsty like a banshee. Run, we'll pay her back later. Well, aren't you a ray of sunshine, so optimistic? Humph, there won't be any loose ends. Whoosh, Zhuo Fan flicked from his bush with an insidious smile. Chu Qingcheng's shadow moved her hand and sent more sword energy flying, making it so it was all her doing. The sky was filled under the gaudy lights of the sword waves, soon covering the ground in fresh and bloody corpses for the new grass to grow. The Ruby Cloud Sect disciples looked startled. Since when was junior sister Qingcheng so cruel? Chu Qingcheng watched as lives were mowed down like grass on the verge of tears, shouting, Stop, please stop. No can do, Qingcheng. I'm ending this here and now for your sake, Zhuo Fan muttered from the bush. Chu Qingcheng held the sword with both hands, trying her best to get it under control. She cried, Stop this instant or I will cripple my meridians. Without my yuan qi you can't do anything. Zhuo Fan listened at last with a shake of his head. Fine, since you said so and if it'll make you happy. Chu Qingcheng's shadow settled and the flood of sword energy slowed down to a halt. Though only 3 men in black remained, including the leader. Glancing back at the she-demon, the wretched thieves ran for their lives while the girl was downcast. They came here thinking it was an easy gig, but luck had it they got almost all of their men killed. We need backup to deal with this hellspawn. The Ruby Cloud Sect disciples glanced at Chu Qingcheng, slumped on the ground with dull eyes. They couldn't recognize her, only feeling fear. Senior sister, are you all right? I kept the purple gold glazed cup safe. Chu Qingcheng jumped back to her feet like nothing happened, beaming at the girls. You're all hurt. Want me to heal you? Pa. Fang Min yanked the cup from Chu Qingcheng's hand and mocked as a form of thanks. Little junior sister, you sure kept to yourself all this time, but now you showed us. Without your help today, junior sister, our lives would have been forfeited. All of us are so useless, needing junior sister's protection. Senior sister, don't say that. It's my duty. Chu Qingcheng was worried as she spoke obliviously to the sarcasm. Senior sister, why aren't you pleased that we have overcome this disaster? Fang Min chuckled with scorn. Oh, I'm pleased as punch of junior sister's glorious future. You alone had finished off 24 people and many spirit kings among them, making us fall short. But junior sister, when did you become so cruel to kill people on a whim? We all saw them leaving, so why did you go after them still? If I didn't know any better, you'd have to be from Devil Mountain than Ruby Cloud Sect. Senior sister, I really didn't want to kill them. It was my sword, it just moved, that's rich. Fang Min snickered, her tone biting and mean. Sisters, let's keep going. We don't need to worry about little junior sister anymore. She has an almighty independent divine sword and can do away without our help. Fang Min was the first to fly off, with the others taking healing pills before giving Chu Qingcheng looks of fear and then following. Chu Qingcheng was left alone and in guilt, looking at her baffling spiritual sword with conflicted emotions. She liked the sword for coming to her and her senior sister's rescue, but hated it for going out of control and isolating her from her senior sisters. It was never the sword, however, but a man, the one wearing a creepy smile just off to the side in a bush. Qingcheng lowered her head, depressed, looking at her sword with a sigh. Senior sisters are wrong about me. I'm no killer. Ah, they have the treasure and might meet other mean people. Chu Qingcheng started and spoke to her spiritual sword. Cerulean, we have to protect senior sisters, but you have to behave and not kill whenever. You have to listen or, Chu Qingcheng's voice drifted, not knowing how to threaten her rampant spiritual sword, or I'll just get another one. Ding, the sword slightly shook in ridicule. You call that a threat? Besides, that wasn't me, so why are you threatening me? Humph. The oblivious Chu Qingcheng was deaf to her spiritual sword, of course, looking relieved as she chased after her senior sisters. Ah, save me. Someone save me. A sudden cry reached her ears. Shriek, she also heard the sharp shriek of a bird. Chu Qingcheng looked back in panic. 100-meter big bird, covered in blue flames, was holding a man in its beak. 8th-level spiritual beast, Firestorm Eagle? Chu Qingcheng shouted. How did this guy end up caught by a spiritual beast like this? Cerulean, let's go save him. Chu Qingcheng shot for the 8th-level spiritual beast and slashed. Bam! A white sword wave hacked into the blue flames, freezing the air and making the fire fizzle out. Shriek, the spiritual beast cried out, and Zhuo Fan used this chance to get out of its beak. The spiritual beast didn't fight the girl, choosing to flee instead. Chu Qingcheng beamed, then recalled Zhuo Fan and went to him, only to find his legs sticking out of the ground. Chu Qingcheng grabbed one at random and pulled. Sorry, I was so focused on the fight with the beast I forgot about you. Are you all right? Ha ha ha, I'm perfect. I'm in the bone-tempering stage after all and won't die from something as simple as falling. Zhuo Fan grinned and wiped his face of dirt and dust. Qingcheng, thanks for saving me again. It must be in the stars to meet. We have to be fated to be together. Chu Qingcheng's face fell and through him. Humph, a scoundrel only knows how to spew lies. I wasted my time saving you for nothing. You're just trying to make your move on me. I should have just let that bird eat you. You'd never, since you can't go on without me. Zhuo Fan was sickeningly corny, though he was also right as his words made Chu Qingcheng blush, her heart racing. She shook her head of those random emotions and gave a smirk. You're nothing to me, braggart, so why would I ever stick around with you? Humph, now off you go, Shu. I still need to find my senior sisters. Bye. Chu Qingcheng left. Ah, Zhuo Fan howled and his forehead was covered in sweat, straining to speak. Qingcheng, don't worry about me, just do what you have to do. Leave me here in the wild outdoors for another strong spiritual beast to come around and take a bite out of me again. I won't blame you since you don't care about me, just go do you. Chu Qingcheng looked back to see Zhuo Fan grimacing and looking pale while his leg bled. Chu Qingcheng rushed over and took out a gauze to bandage him. Weren't you a bone-tempering cultivator? Why did you get a broken leg from falling? It's that spiritual beast who snapped it in its beak. Zhuo Fan gasped. Bone-tempering stage isn't enough to withstand those sharp fangs. Here, a healing pill from my sect. She fished out a vial in a rush and fed Zhuo Fan a pill. Chu Qingcheng's heart felt forlorn for some reason, but as we're all Genesis experts, we only got pills for internal wounds. It will take a week to heal your leg as is. Zhuo Fan nodded, looking distressed. Not moving for a week. I'll be a sitting duck for spiritual beasts to gobble me up. Stop saying that. You'll be fine with me around. Chu Qingcheng glared at him, but then she looked in the direction her fellow sisters went. Zhuo Fan smiled. Qingcheng, aren't you going after your senior sisters? Just go and forget about me. How can I just leave you with your leg like this? Puffing her underwhelming chest, Chu Qingcheng spoke with honor and righteousness, but then she hoisted Zhuo Fan's arm and helped him up on her back, smiling, isn't this better? I'll carry you to find my senior sisters and let you down in a safe place. That's mighty clever of you. Zhuo Fan lit up and nodded. Chu Qingcheng smiled in pride. Of course, now let's go. The two were gone like the wind, but the pure girl failed to notice the big eagle looking at them from a distance. Thank heavens that prick is gone. Brother, what's with that cut on your back? Another eagle shrieked in teasing, many times bigger. Did a human play with you? Want bro here to set them straight? The first eagle flayed its wings and squawked, looking panicky. No, definitely no. Please don't, I never want to see that guy again. Is he that tough? From the wound, he doesn't look much to me. The slash barely dented your feathers. You know nothing. It's not the sword wielder, the tough one, but the guy forcing me to hold him in my beak. Its eyes were filled with fear as he recalled Zhuo Fan's black orbs. Its feathers even trembled from terror. The bigger eagle looked stumped. Who on earth did this guy meet to make him shake like a leaf? The escaping men in black arrived at a barren mountain, where a refined elder was enjoying his tea in his chair. The three men in black slumped weakly at the old man's side, bowing. Clan head. Well, where is it? Clan head, we failed to take it and suffered heavy casualties. The leader hung his head. Crack. The cup broke in the old man's hand, his voice laced with fury. Failed. More than 20 experts and a late-stage spirit king failed. Weren't they just 7 girls? You couldn't even deal with them. Are you morons or simply garbage? Clan head. The others shivered with the leader speaking. Clan head, let me explain. 6 of them were nothing, but the last girl was simply horrible. She killed without blinking and had an uncanny power about her. None of us could handle her. Even WW would have ended up dead if we were any slower. The old man eyed them and rose from his chair, his eyes sharp. For you, a late-stage spirit king, to fail against her, then she must be something else. That leaves only me to step in. Clan head, you're going to go after them yourself. The demonic emperor entrusted us with this task, and I'm not about to botch it. The old man snapped back. If just one of you had shown even a bit of promise, I wouldn't have deigned to steal from some nobodies. The old man covered his face with black cloth. The demonic emperor said not to harm anyone if possible, as to not stir up the old hag. All that matters is that we ruin their deal in Mist City. Let's go. Yes, they all got excited. With the clan head stepping in, that girl is finished. He is a mighty expert in the sacred domain, a true emperor. Whoosh, under a clear sunny sky, the 6 disciples of Ruby Cloud sect were the only ones flying. The leader had a nice face, but the grimace ruined her image. The head senior sister looked angry all the time these past 3 days. One looked worried. Senior sister, aren't we going too fast? There's been no sight of junior sister all this time. Maybe she's lost. Humph, a spirit king is beneath her, but she can't catch up. She must have been playing around since it's her first time outside the sect. Why do you care? Fang Min spat with venom. The disciple's heart shrank but still tried. Yeah, it's her first time this far from the sect and might not know the way. Should we leave her some signs to follow? You talk too much, Fang Min barked. That girl's so tough now, so why would she need your care? Are you leaving signs so the enemy can find us instead? Is that it? The girl shrank under head senior sister's harsh stare. Fang Min glared at her, then looked back ahead, brooding and furious as they went on. Boom. A sudden pressure came out of nowhere over them and their flight was cut off, falling to the ground. An aged voice laughed from everywhere. Ha ha ha, you think I need some signs to find you? Whoosh, 50 men in black landed before them, with 20 spirit kings among them. Their leader wore black, his scary eyes making the girls tremble. Imperial descent, he's an emperor, Fang Min gasped, full with dread as she looked at the older man. Her heart was beating so hard it might jump out of her chest. The other girls could barely breathe. The old man mocked, juniors of the Ruby Cloud sect. I'd rather avoid having any real altercation with that biddy, so hand over the purple gold glazed cup. I'll be letting you all go without harming one hair on you. What do you say? As a mighty emperor, senior must be of great renown in sacred domain. Why would you lower yourself to some petty theft? Og. Fang Min tried the diplomatic way, her tone shaky, but an even stronger pressure descended and forced her to shriek and cough blood. The old man snickered. We all have our sordid past, or do you not already see our covered faces? Girl, give it here and we'll be out of your hair, no fuss, no mess. But if it gets to it, I'll just have to pry it from your cold, dead hands. The girls tensed, all looking towards Fang Min and awaiting her decision. Head senior sister, what do we do? Senior. Fang Min's eyes darted around, smiling. Sorry, but you're getting ahead of yourself. You really want me to kill you all? Ha ha ha, kill us. Fang Min laughed in his face. Senior, you got me all wrong. I'm not so stupid to fight the impossible. The treasure just isn't with us. You can just kill us and see for yourself. The old man's face twitched as he gave her a hard look. Not on you. Do you think I'll buy that? Search ahead then. Fang Min grinned as she forced her feet under her, taking out her storage ring. I'll go first. All I have is in there. Take a look. Why, still don't believe me? Ha, you can just search me as well. Fang Min started undressing under the fixed gaze of the old man. As her dress grew lighter, her curves grew more obvious. The other guys behind were enchanted. Many gulped and drooled, having forgotten about some lame treasure, engrossed in having her take off everything. That took priority by far. Senior sister. Her fellow disciples were tense and jittery. When senior sister finishes, it won't be us next, will it? We'll now lose both the treasure and our purity. What is senior sister thinking going so far? All right. Fang Min was left in a most enticing and revealing inner garment when the old man stopped her. His men hung their heads at having lost a good show, whining inside. Clan head, can't you mind the timing? Only just a bit more. I know you're withered, but you could at least think of everyone else. The old man already believed this last somewhat for going so far, not even bothering with the throne ring as he shouted, I'll believe you for now, but if you don't have it, who does? My junior sister. Your junior sister. Junior sister is the strongest, so the treasure can only be in her care. We're nothing but bait. Even if you kill us, you won't get anything out of it. Fang Min held out her head. The old man looked back at the previous leader and he attested, Clan head, the strongest girl is indeed not here. They must have split up and had her deliver the treasure. Where is she? The old man fixed his gaze back on Fang Min. Speak and you may go. Otherwise, Fang Min paused. 3 days ago, after the attack, junior sister took a different route just to be safe. I have no idea where she could be by now. You could just trail back and maybe still find some clues. Find some trackers and get me her direction. The old man's piercing gaze never left Fang Min. Girl, lie to me and I'll be back at any time to send you all to hell. Let's go, he shot into the sky, gone like the wind. The rest gulped and gave the 6 pretty girls one last look before leaving as well. Even with all the danger gone, the girls still looked to be in despair. Getting dressed again and picking up her ring, Fang Min had a smile of utter scorn on her face. "Humph, here's what you want, you old fart. Come and get it. Senior sister, are they gone? Will they come back?" One girl was still shaken up from the deadly pressure even now. Fang Min grew grave. Yeah, once he finds junior sister doesn't have the purple gold glazed cup, he'll be sure to storm back. "Sisters, we're detouring to Miss City. Leave not a trace of your energy on your way so they can't find us." "Yes, head senior sister." They all cupped their hands, but then one girl shyly said, "What about little junior sister? When they do find her, that's her problem. It was either sending them after her or us dying instead. What would you prefer, her or us?" Fang Min snapped a cold glare on her, shutting her up. She had a cruel smile as she then took the lead, all the rancor eating her up these past days gone. "Girl, you won't be missed, Humph." 5 days went by, with a girl carrying on her back a thin man and taking a totally different path from Fang Min's group. In flying, she spoke her worries. "Zhuo Fan, is Miss City this way? Why haven't we met with the others yet?" "Not to worry, my sense of direction is perfect." Zhuo Fan grinned, feeling warm and gooey inside as he gazed upon her adorable and worried face. "Perfect direction? Ha, well of course, I've been roaming the sacred domain for ages that I know it like the back of my hand, while omitting the fact I'm taking the wrong way is a different story. Rather than catch up to those third wheels, a world just for the two of us is so much better, haha." Huff, it had been a week already, yet no sign of the girls as Chu Qingcheng carried Zhuo Fan with ragged breath. Worry plagued her innocent heart, making her not stop for even a second all this time. Even for a Genesis stage expert, the long travel took its toll. Zhuo Fan was feeling a bit guilty, wiping her sweaty brow. "Qingcheng, my leg is healed now, let's take a rest." "No, I've yet to catch up to my senior sisters. We can't stop now, it will only make us lag further behind." Chu Qingcheng was stubborn. "You won't ever catch them, not by taking the wrong way at least." Zhuo Fan sighed. "Qingcheng, what difference does it make if we can't reach them? They're faster than you anyway, so there's no way you can catch up. Aren't you going to just meet up in Miss City? You'll just see them there, so just take it easy. But this is my first time outside the sect. How should I know where Miss City is? Don't you have me for something this simple? I'll show you the way." "You," Chu Qingcheng started, looking back, "weren't you out looking for herbs? Won't I give you more trouble for guiding me all the way to Miss City?" Zhuo Fan chuckled. "What does it matter? I'm just a drifter. We'll just go to Miss City, then you can drop me off on your way back." "Oh then, thanks." Qingcheng's cheeks went pink, thinking she would carry him back as well. Though her heart did not seem to mind it. Zhuo Fan snickered, his breath tickling her ear. "You don't want to carry me." Chu Qingcheng blushed harder, shaking her head. "Would you carry me then?" The guy was taking all the advantage he could from her back, making her flustered. "Then hold me all my life, all right," Zhuo Fan spoke in an emotional and heavy tone. Chu Qingcheng shuddered, her mind blanking out as she stared deep in those black and tender eyes of his. She just did not know where Zhuo Fan's confession even came from to say something like that. Zhuo Fan looked at her with nothing but love, leaned over and pecked her lips. Dong, Chu Qingcheng froze solid, her mind blown away. Feeling the strange yet familiar male scent, her heart raced. With one shudder they both fell to the ground, each left a 2-meter wide hole. Chu Qingcheng crawled out of hers, panicky and blushing, looking over as Zhuo Fan held on the edge of his hole. "Why, you're just toying with me again." "Yeah, sorry, I just can't help it, hee. Zhuo Fan scratched his head, yet showed no remorse as he smiled. "Since I took unfair advantage, why don't you do the same? I'll even let you kiss me for 10 whole minutes. I won't mind it one bit either, haha." "Why, you're so crude." Chu Qingcheng glared at him and walked out on him. "I'm ignoring you." "Qingcheng, don't go. You don't know the way, so let me guide you." "I don't need you. I can just ask someone, Humph." Zhuo Fan snickered as he gestured for the way ahead. Chu Qingcheng had lost faith in this rascal, huffing and flying into the air in anger. Zhuo Fan scratched his head. "Too soon. Was I pushing things too hard? Ha ha ha, guess it's not easy chasing girls. I just can't understand how Qingcheng stood so loyal for 10 years and endured so much bitterness. Guess I get what I deserve now, with me doing the chasing this time." Zhuo Fan sighed. Let's see what I should use this time for our next meeting. Last time I was getting chewed by an eagle, so that's out. I'm in the bone tempering stage, so I can't just go after her." Whoosh, Zhuo Fan was going through his bag of tricks to hook girls when black streaks flew overhead and darkened the sky. Thanks to his meager cultivation, he was ignored by these powerhouses. Zhuo Fan, however, grew grave from their direction of flight. How did they catch up so fast? Qingcheng is all alone, so they should be looking after those broads instead, take their stuff and just leave. So why are they here again? Casting blame? Zhuo Fan vanished the next second. Damn it, they even have an emperor with them. "I won't be able to hide this time." Chu Qingcheng kept flying and cursing in anger. "Rotten, evil Zhuo Fan, you only know how to toy with me. Senior sister was right, there's no trusting any man. They're all evil." Boom. A resounding boom echoed, followed by an unearthly pressure slamming into her and sending her crashing into the ground. Rumble, an even bigger explosion echoed as a crater half a mile wide sprouted, kicking up dust. Chu Qingcheng coughed blood and looked pale. Men in black landed in her sights, the leader being an old man. She doesn't look like anything, yet she killed 24 people. Clan head, don't let her cultivation fool you, she is a freak, the ex-leader whispered in his ear. Chu Qingcheng strained her waned face only to cough blood again. Why you again? Girl, hand over the purple gold glazed cup or I'll give you a fate worse than death. Purple gold glazed cup. Chu Qingcheng looked confused. I don't have it, but I wouldn't give Ruby Cloud sex treasure even if I did. The old man scoffed. Very well, bam. Chu Qingcheng was sent flying from a kick to the gut. She jerked and coughed more blood mixed with her innards. How weak, just at Genesis stage? The old man frowned, looking back in doubt. Is she the same expert that had you scared out of your minds? I don't see it. The man's face twitched, hanging his head. Clan head, maybe she's not herself today up on bricks. Pa, the old man smacked him hard. You think it's funny? The old man snorted. The other man lowered his head, cursing Chu Qingcheng to high heaven. Damn girl, where has all that fire gone? Give me something, even a tenth, so that I can prove to clan head my mission failed for a very good reason. As it is now, I'm only being rebutted. There's no way we can prove our failure now. I'll deal with you later. Yes, the old man glared at him before turning to Chu Qingcheng. The ex-leader looked like a kicked puppy on the verge of crying. The old man reached the girl and raised his foot. Lass, you killed my men, so I can't let you go like the rest. Since you're so obstinate, I'll crack open that skull of yours before looking for the treasure on your body. The old man stomped. A mighty pressure fell on her face, heralding certain doom. Chu Qingcheng felt her weakened body growing heavy and her heart sinking. Am I going to die? There's so many things I want to do. I don't even know my purpose in life, so how can I just... Boom. Her eyes closed just as the old man stomped a huge crater in front of her a mile wide. When the dust settled, the old man shook, his head whipping in another direction and shouting, "State who you are. You don't need to know it for where you're going." A pitch-black figure appeared in the roaming dust, its voice eerie and chilling. Even these criminals used to getting their hands dirty felt their hearts seizing from the hellish failing. All heads turned to where the wind blew, on edge. Even the old man was cautious, taking back his foot. When all dust cleared, they saw a thin man holding a barely alive Chu Qingcheng. The men in black gasped. He saved her from under clan head's nose without any of us noticing anything. He's a true expert. The old man's eyes shone, his voice low. At least it makes my trip worthwhile knowing there's someone that can take me on. Zhuo Fan traced Chu Qingcheng's unconscious face, looking dark as he turned to the rest. Geezer, you must be rushing to die going after her. Humph. Pretentious fool, at least you have skill to save someone from my attack. Though having an unconscious girl weighing you down won't be of much help. Whoosh, the old man looked smug with his smile, but then he heard whistling sword waves, instantly ripping apart 10 spirit kings. So fast, everyone gasped in fright. The old man froze as well, unable to believe what he saw. How is his sword energy so fast that I couldn't even see it? It's beyond even sword Emperor Ao Changshan's imperial sword winds. What the hell are you? The old man finally revealed fear in his voice for the first time. Zhuo Fan grinned with the ex-leader in black exclaiming, now I get it. Clan head, he had to be the one who struck us before, not the girl. He's the monster. Bam, his head got split in two like a melon. Zhuo Fan smiled, who sent you and why? They all gulped, the only sound in the deathly silence. The other men were horrified, glancing at the clan head for any signs of what to do. The old man was sweating now, thinking of a way out. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Since you can't even answer, I have no further use for you. Heaven sealing sword art, space seal. Zhuo Fan flicked his hand, and the space took on a cold glint, with all of the others stuck in place. What is this? A spirit king? Their hearts jumped in their chests. The elder looked grave, barely budging even as an emperor. With his movement slowed down so much, he began to feel the danger. He's no average spirit king to be able to freeze fellow spirit kings and even an emperor. Just what is he? Why haven't I heard of anyone like him in all my years in sacred domain? Zhuo Fan grinned. Well, feel like talking now. You can opt for silence, but there'll be nothing left of any of you to even bury you. Who was it that said she's weighing me down? I don't even need to go all out against the likes of you, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan drew out 2 fingers, the air warping from the violent forces gathering at the tips. Wait, the old man shouted in a panic. I'll talk. I don't think Sir is from Ruby Cloud sect, nor do I know why you got involved in this, but I don't think you'll tell me either way. But still, no one wants to butt in the issues of the 8 emperors, I reckon. Zhuo Fan nodded. The old man looked relieved at his attitude. We are under the demonic emperor, tasked to go after the Ruby Cloud sect disciples and get the purple gold glazed cup. The treasure auction in Mist City has a map of the Nether Sea that everyone wants. It points the way to the Nether Sovereign's home. with the promise of becoming a sovereign or at least a saint. By taking the Ruby Cloud's sex treasure, it could no longer participate in the bidding, giving us one less opponent to worry about. Oh, pretty much what I figured as well. Zhuo Fan nodded, flicking his hand, letting the violent energy expand everywhere. The frozen people evaporated on contact. 50 experts died just like that. The old man cried in anger. W, what are you doing? I told you everything, so why? You did, but I don't recall ever saying I'll let you go. With a sinister smile, Zhuo Fan said, you hurt King Cheng and expect to live. Ha, the old man ground his teeth, his eyes bloodshot. This is absurd. I didn't want to get involved with you for fear of suffering pointless casualties. Did you really think that an emperor like me would be scared of a mere spirit king? Boom. The old man shook and flew out of the frozen space. He started making signs and golden lights spilled out of him. Imperial mark, ghost skeleton. Whoosh, the golden lights exploded in intensity, and a skeleton hundreds of meters big appeared around him. The golden lights focused then and took the form of a four-sided seal high in the sky, encompassing the old man and the skeleton. Zhuo Fan watched it all with a cold eye and a smirk. This was a skill particular to emperors, using one's soul and control of space to form the imperial mark, unstoppable and disregarding all spatial laws. Once the seal fell, the land would break along with any spirit king that tried fighting it. The soul's character would also be shown its full potential inside the imperial mark as well. The old man's soul was a ghost skeleton, of yin in nature, making the attack have an even harsher effect on souls. The moment the golden seal appeared, spilling light everywhere, Zhuo Fan shook as he heard howls of wraiths within his mind. It dazed him for a moment, with his body wobbling. Humph, nothing but a spirit king. You can control space, but can you take on the imperial heavenly brilliance? The old man was out for blood, shouting as the golden seal came down on top of Zhuo Fan. Rotten cretin, I'll make mincemeat out of you now while your mind is hazy. Apocalyptic thunderflame. Zhuo Fan's left eye flared with black flames, while deep in his soul, thunderflames sparked to life. The golden glow met with a sudden blackness, erasing it and making Zhuo Fan's eyes shine. Looking up at the incoming golden seal, Zhuo Fan grinned. His right eye shone in two golden halos. Humph, the imperial mark might be unstoppable, but even it will suffer before my thunderflame. Divine Eye of the Void's second stage, thunderflame void annihilation. Whoosh. A dreadful black beam of flame shot at the golden seal. The old man cried out, what is that? Boom. The black flames smashed into the seal and availed itself of the void annihilation's power to enter the newly formed 1/2 meter wide and hundreds of meters long hole. The old man spurted blood and paled, proving that the imperial mark and he were connected, making him suffer when it was damaged. What was worse, the black thunderflames didn't rest with only punching a hole in the seal, eating away at the remains as well. Ah, with an unearthly howl, the man screamed from having his very soul eaten away. The pain had to be excruciating, enough to make one go insane. He was constantly pleading for mercy, yet Zhuo Fan just stood to the side and watched as the seal was burned to nothing. The old man wailed in pain down to his last breath, his face twisted and horrible. It was a testament to a most gruesome death no one would wish upon anyone. I didn't use the decimating sword art on you as well because I needed your body intact. Zhuo Fan walked over to the twisted body, chuckling. He hooked his finger and a head landed in his palm. Drip, the downpour had soaked the land, washing away the blood and filth, leaving no trace behind of the atrocity that happened, while giving the air an earthy scent. In a damp cave with water dripping from the stalagmites, the girl laying on a stone bed muttered as she woke up, where am I? Oh, King Cheng, awake yet? Zhuo Fan lit up, chuckling. I can't believe how I ended up saving you in the end. Shouldn't you pledge endless devotion now? Ha ha ha. You saved me. King Cheng was confused, trying to recall the fuzzy details. Then it all came to her in a flash, looking at Zhuo Fan with suspicion. How did you save me? They had an emperor and many spirit kings. Emperor, spirit kings? Zhuo Fan shrugged, putting on a clueless look. I didn't see any. Didn't you just leave me behind? As I tried catching up with you on the ground, I saw you lying unconscious. So I carried you here to nurse you. I never got to see anything. King Cheng's eyes grew hazy, strange. They were so ruthless, clearly wanting to kill me. I still remember that foot about to crush my head before I lost consciousness. Did they just let me go after finding I don't have it? King Cheng turned to Zhuo Fan as if in question. Zhuo Fan shrugged, smiling cluelessly. King Cheng thought long and hard but still couldn't find an explanation, so she resigned to being fortunate to have come out alive. Now she just had to catch up to her senior sisters. She just got up to her feet when she felt her waist in pain before slumping back down. Zhuo Fan jumped to help her. What is it? Take it slow, King Cheng. I have some bad wounds and can't move very well. King Cheng winced and took a red pill from her ring. She ate it and sighed. Now it'll be a miracle if I get to Mist City on time, let alone catching up with the others. Zhuo Fan smiled, his mind calculative. Did you forget about me already? Last time you carried me, so now I'll carry you. Yep, with you unable to fly, my running has to be way better than being stuck here, right? Chu Qingcheng yelped as he up and put her on his back, taking a long whiff of her scent while plastering a smile on his face. Oh, my wife's smell is so unlike everyone else's. I'll be sure to engrave it in my memory, to hold it close to the end of days. Bam, Chu Qingcheng smacked his head, blushing hard and chiding. Cut that out, I am not your wife. Yes, you are, miscreant. Maybe not now, but you soon will be. You can never escape from me, he. Zhuo Fan held onto Chu Qingcheng's supple legs and lifted, eliciting another pleasant yelp from her before he started walking. Chu Qingcheng glared at this rotten man, but for some reason her heart just wouldn't match her thoughts. His wide back called to her to just rest on it. As a strong girl, she of course pushed through the thought with sheer determination, despite her heart's constant hammering in her chest. Zhuo Fan carried his darling, asking about her life till now. Qingcheng, who gave you that name anyway? It sounds so nice, like those kingdom-toppling beauties. Is father-in-law a Chu? Stop that nonsense. Chu Qingcheng blushed again, but she replied still, Master named me when she picked me up. I heard that the ground collapsed just as Master passed by, revealing these characters, thus taking me and naming me after them. Oh, I see, Zhuo Fan nodded. That old man from my soul was very thoughtful for me. To make sure I found Qingcheng, he left clues of her birth, but, and your parents, didn't your master find your parents? Chu Qingcheng lowered her head, sighing. Master said I don't have any, that she only found me alone. I always wanted to go out and find where I came from when I left the sect. Any idea where to begin? None. Chu Qingcheng shook her head. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, his mind making the right adjustments to the plan. Then leave it to me. I will make it clear as day. You don't believe I can do it. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, smiling. I've been roaming the world for so many years, and where I lack in strength, I made up with knowledge in spades. They don't call me an information broker for nothing. There's not an obscure rumor or far-fetched myth I didn't hear. The demonic emperor's high treachery or the enchanting empress's twisted love life throughout the ages, I know everything. Pa. His head snapped to the side from the blow as Chu Qingcheng yelled at him, Don't you dare vilify my master. Why would I even want to? While the crone is hardly amazing now back in the day. You're still saying that. Fine, I'll stop. It's not like we all haven't been rash and reckless in our youth. Zhuo Fan smirked, feeling gloomy inside. What's so great about that biddy anyway? Something's definitely off here, just taking Qingcheng to the sect and raising her. I'd better get those guys to look into what went on a century ago. Zhuo Fan walked on, his mind on different matters. Chu Qingcheng saw him silent and asked, Are you angry? Oh, not at all. I could never be angry at you. Zhuo Fan beamed. Chu Qingcheng brightened and her heart swooned. In her joy, her head leaned on his back, at peace and happy. Zhuo Fan caught her look and was just as content. Zhuo Fan walked with Chu Qingcheng on his back for 7 days before she finally got better. She could pretty much walk on her own and be off on her merry way, but these short days had worked to get the destined couple to grow much closer, as well as Zhuo Fan's persistent demand to guide her. Chu Qingcheng thus let him do what he wanted, with some reluctance. She ended up carrying him as they flew, reaching the gates of Mist City 3 months later. The two entered the bustling city hand in hand. Everything drew Chu Qingcheng's eyes, amazed at any sparkling or cute thing, being her first time outside the sect. Zhuo Fan acted natural, except for that eerie light in his eyes. Qingcheng Mist City is known as Gambling Town in Sacred Domain, with a gambling game at every corner of every street. In the city center, the treasure hoarding palace took the best spot of all gambling dens. The treasure deal you are all here for has to be held there. This is a gambling town, isn't it? 7 Treasures sect's domain where deals are made. It is, but the sect leader is a renowned gambler, dubbed the Gambling Emperor, making the deals made here resemble gambling. When conducting business with him, you either lose or he loses. There's no such thing as mutual satisfaction. What? Chu Qingcheng gasped. No fairness. Who on earth would bet with him for anything then? As one of the 8 emperors who'd win against him, Zhuo Fan smiled. A true gambler knows when to accept a loss, or there would never be anyone willing to risk gambling against such a man if there's not a chance of winning. A gambler would be down without a buddy to gamble with. That's why the Gambling Emperor is only letting luck decide. Regardless of the loss, he'll never go back on it. This is the rule of all gambling. The moment he breaks it, no one will ever come to his town ever again. Chu Qingcheng nodded and then her eyes shone. Zhuo Fan, have you ever bet against him? Ha, nah, it can't be. Why would he bet against someone like you? And you don't look to be having anything worth his time either. Oh, I did bet. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. I offered a heaven-grade cultivation method for his heaven-grade martial art and won in the end. He ended up crying 3 whole days before he finally gave me the martial art. Chu Qingcheng gave him a long look. A bone-tempering cultivator with a heaven-grade cultivation method betting for a heaven-grade martial art. If you're going to boast, make it believable. Reading her like a book, Zhuo Fan held her gaze before finally chuckling. King Cheng, can't believe you fell for it. Without me around, I fear someone's going to cheat you out of your spirit stones, ha ha ha. Why, you tricked me. King Cheng gaped, then started chasing Zhuo Fan around. He played along, enjoying the rare moment. King Cheng, what are you doing? As Senior Aunt May, King Cheng jumped in fright, looking back in anxiety where the voice came from and stiffened like a child being caught. A woman in her 50s came over, a mid-stage empress with sharp eyes and an ashen face wearing plain clothes. She glared at the two, approaching with authority. Her fierce attitude only worked on girls, not on seasoned demons like Zhuo Fan. Mei Sangu hasn't kicked the bucket yet. What a drag, Zhuo Fan cursed at her inside. Mei Sangu reached them and her eyes never left King Cheng. Behind her were Fang Min and the other girls, along with one young man. She pointed at Zhuo Fan's face while cussing, King Cheng, who's this? You're a Ruby Cloud sect disciple, yet are gallivanting with a man in broad daylight. The scandal, Senior Aunt He. King Cheng was embarrassed, stuck unable to even introduce him. Fang Min butted in, ever unhelpful with making things worse. Senior Aunt, he's the thug we found in the forest looking for herbs a few months ago. He's nothing, but he must be one smooth talker to actually get in Junior Sister's graces to follow her here. Junior Sister, if you were looking for a man, you sure have poor tastes. Just what are you up to hanging out with a nobody like him, ha ha ha. The other girls giggled at her expense. Senior Sister, you misunderstand, he's. King Cheng rushed to explain but got stuck again. Mei Sangu rushed, King Cheng, just what is going on here? Explain yourself. You know very well of your master's high expectations. Don't throw it all away on a whim. Senior Aunt just tell them already. King Cheng kept stammering, so Zhuo Fan intervened, grabbing her hand and declaring, forgive me, but she is with me now. You all better be nice to her or else. Everyone froze, their hearts shuddering from shock. Mei Sangu could hardly believe her ears. King Cheng, why you've already? And no, we didn't do anything. King Cheng blushed hard as she explained and cursed Zhuo Fan, what are you saying? I'm not yours at all, could you please stop lying to everyone? What did I ever do to you to shame me so? Zhuo Fan shrugged, I'm not shaming you, you were mine to begin with. Be it now and forever, no one can take you away from me. King Cheng gave him a long look, still distressed and red, but his bold declaration touched her. Ha ha ha, a bone-tempering punk goes after a Ruby Cloud sect disciple. Not even the last dead girl will be a fit for you. Humph, she's way out of your leg. Fang Min laughed, throwing him a despising look, then turned to the handsome youth. Shang, are the Sword Cloud Palace disciples allowed to have affairs with bugs? The youth smiled condescendingly. We aren't fools to resort to such absurd means. Or does Junior Sister think she is only fit for this guy? Well said, Junior Sister must surely know her worth, ha ha ha. Fang Min loved to mock the two. King Cheng hung her head with guilt, tears flowing. Mei Sangu sighed and pulled her shoulder. Come with me, girl, you shamed us enough as it is. You're to reflect long and hard when we return. King Cheng followed out of instinct. King Cheng, it's fine. Just come find me if you need anything. I'll never let them touch a hair on you. Zhuo Fan shouted after the two. Fang Min mocked, boy, you're so yellow on the inside that you're now running your mouth. You call that skill? If you're a man, just go take Junior Sister from Senior Aunt May's hand. Oh, look who I'm talking to. Of course, if you do that, you'd end up flattened with Senior Aunt's temper, ha ha ha. Brother, may I know your name? Zhuo Fan only addressed the youth next to her. The guy was surprised, then sneered, I am Su Zhensheng. What may I do for you? Nothing much, just meaning to give you a word of advice. Zhuo Fan snickered. Catching a woman's heart is like looking for a needle in the haystack. You have to grasp what she values. Your approach won't get you anywhere, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan left him to digest that tidbit, while Fang Min and the girls stood there stunned. Fang Min asked, what did he mean by that? Probably nothing. Su Zhensheng was out of sorts, making a random excuse while his heart was in awe. He doesn't look like it, but this guy's like a love doctor or something. Go after what she values. It makes perfect sense. He butted in just now so the Junior Sister would be at odds with both parties, having no choice but to go with him. What kind of person would ever want to live their lives under constant nagging? This was a clear tactic of taking advantage of the situation to get the girl to his side. They could just elope later on. Absolutely brilliant, but what's the point of getting the girl to follow him when he hasn't got the skill to fight back the Ruby Cloud sex hunters? If he can't handle them, why resort to dissent? He doesn't look like the reckless and impulsive type either. Su Zhensheng couldn't figure him out. Fang Min and the girls gave him odd looks. What's with Shang? He's been out of it just from a couple words from that guy. How peculiar. Mei Sangu brought King Cheng to a tavern in Mist City, where she interrogated her over what she went through. You're saying that you've been hurt badly and he guided you here. You were just using him to show you the way, and that's all there is to it. Senior Aunt, that is it for now. What's that supposed to mean? Don't tell me later, you. Not at all. Chu Qingcheng shook her head and Mei Sengu finally sighed. I hope so, Qingcheng. You are the favorite disciple of my senior sister. Don't do anything that will bring the sect shame. Since it was just a misunderstanding, we can let it go. But next time you are to stay clear of men, understand? Yes, Chu Qingcheng squeaked. Mei Sengu gestured for her to leave. Go and get some rest for 2 days. In 3 days, the exchange gathering will commence. We have to get the Nether Sea map. Yes, Chu Qingcheng was downcast as she left, with Mei Sengu sighing from behind. Girls yearn for love. We better find them a betrothal instead of having some egotistical cheat toy with them. Zhuo Fan held a green jade slip, following the map inside to the center of town, to a large courtyard guarded by 2 Genesis stage experts. This is the place. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. The 2 guards blocked him as he tried going inside. Halt. Only honored guests of Miss City stay here. Laborers have no place here. Step aside, I'm one of them. You, sizing him up, the 2 mocked. Have you ever seen some bone-tempering bug treated as a guest? I'm from the Luo clan, now move. Luo clan? The 2 started, but their disdain of Zhuo Fan never diminished. Kid, now you're trying to scare us. The Luo clan became an honored guest only a month ago. They squandered billions of sacred stones and earned our city lord's personal invitation here. They have many experts, of which over 20 spirit kings. Yet you're saying there's also you somewhere in there. Zhuo Fan's face sank. Then just call someone from the Luo clan and it will all be made clear. Why, is a bug worthy of the audience of such an important guest? Steward Zhuo. A cry came just then as Li Jingshan rushed over upon noticing Zhuo. Steward Zhuo, you're finally here. You almost made my heart stop with your year-long disappearance. The guards blinked in stupefaction, a silly smile on their faces. Sir Li, why you know him? He is the Luo clan's head steward. Be nice to him, or any slight done to Steward Zhuo is a slight to the entire Luo clan. We'll be sure to settle this debt. Li Jingshan gave them a tongue lashing and grabbed Zhuo Fan's arm with a smile. Steward Zhuo, we did as you said in the jade slip and spent a ton of money without a care. We almost bought the whole town, ha ha ha. Good, in 3 days at the treasure gathering we must succeed. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone as he left with Li Jingshan. The 2 guards were still staring with goony looks, their faces twitching. What's a powerful clan doing with a bone-tempering nobody for a head steward? From the looks of Sir Lei, they value him greatly too. 3 days later, at the treasure-hoarding palace, placed in the center of Mist City, an endless crowd had gathered. Some were officials, others were average people, but they were all there for the great treasure exchange. Though that was just a fancy word for gambling, as most treasures were never seen in public. Some would end up spending a fortune, only to get nothing in return. Others had the fortune of using just 10 spirit stones and becoming set for life. This was the thrill of gambling, fraught with dangers, but the potential to win a reward so valuable that it could put you in power overnight. Everyone here walked in line, for on this day there was no status separating anyone as they entered the hall and got to their seats. The place housed hundreds of thousands, gathered around a stage where the city lord of Mist City awaited. Today he was not just the city lord, but the host for the occasion. With this exchange holding some very incredible items, he had to come out and handle this big event involving powerful people. Taking a deep breath, the man of the hour overlooked the stands, tensing as he lingered a moment longer on the 9 covered private booths. Therein were the other representatives of the 8 emperors. All were a headache to deal with and could trash this place without fear of consequences. It unnerved him, but he tried to focus and calm his mind. We've been here for a month, yet still haven't seen the city lord such a nervous wreck. In one of the booths, Li Jingshan glanced at the fretful man and turned to the other booths. Steward Zhuo, today we're up against the 8 emperors, in the open no less, but isn't it a bit too early with barely a year of preparations? Even Miss City Lord isn't ready to face the others, and he has the gambling emperor behind him. Zhuo Fan sat in a cozy chair. Yes, the risk is great, but we have to grasp the opportunity. It's the best chance we have of involving ourselves in the 8 emperors conflict. Who's to say there'll be a next one? Also, didn't I say I will be taking the lead in this? Young Miss Murong, what are you 2 even doing here? Zhuo Fan looked back at the 2 girls. As the young miss of the Luo clan, I have to be present at such a huge event. Luo Yuncheng shrugged from her own fancy chair. Murong Zhu gave him a look. I'm not about to miss out on the chance of seeing the sacred domain's big shots. So far, it doesn't look any different from the mortal domain. If it's all the same, why come? Bali Yuyu rolled her eyes. We're here to show these big names in sacred domain what we're made of, not strut about. You're both here for nothing. Hey, don't talk like that. Who's in charge of the clan here anyway? Settle down now. As they were about to bicker again, Zhuo Fan intervened. Since we're all here, might as well enjoy it. Young Miss Luo is correct, though. At such an important event, a steward isn't enough to represent the clan head's intentions. It's only normal for the young miss to be here. Luo Yuncheng rose an eyebrow, shooting Bali Yuyu a smug look. The cold lady huffed and flicked her head away. The others chuckled at their antics. Bang, a deafening ringing echoed as a bell was struck. The stands went quiet, with the city lord walking forward with a smile. Guests, the 1784th Treasure Exchange gathering begins. Be it the poor or the rich, this very hall offers the same opportunity to all, an opportunity to change their destiny. Life is hard and cruel, so don't wait for it to get better. Take out everything you have and go after those treasures. The crowd went wild. We'll start off with our first item of the day. At City Lord's shout, guards pushed in a trolley. It had a black cover, blocking any prying eyes as the host gave his speech. This is a fascinating spiritual weapon for the ladies and an obsession for the men. It is a treasure that drives shock into all. You can't possibly imagine the world could ever have something so incredible. What is it, you ask? The eyes below the stage glittered, trying their best to guess what this amazing bauble could be behind that thin veil. With a cryptic smile, the city lord resumed, I don't know it and neither do any of you. Per custom, it can be something grand and unique or as common as dirt. Let the blind bidding commence and may the highest bidder win. Opportunity rarely knocks in one's lifetime, people. Don't miss your chance at glory. 100,000 spirit stones. A shout echoed the instant he finished riling up the crowd, followed by a flood of others. 1 million. I must have it. It has to be amazing to make women fascinated and men obsessed. 5 million, the people whispered, then checked their pockets to see if they could afford it. Some had the means, but not the will to step in, for fear of going bust. Zhuo Fan sneered at the bivalent crowd. That's the gambling emperor's ploy, all right, plant to hike up the bidding. That means the item must be junk to raise it so high. Why? People would feel sorry spending a fortune over something cheap, but it garners attention, while buying something valued with a lower price would cause excitement and greed. All these years, the gambling emperor has been using this trick to cheat people out of their money. It's an old tactic, but there's plenty of people out there who would fall for it all the same, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan shook his head in disdain. Li Jingshan nodded, yeah, but what kind of fools would fall for it? Do you need to ask us, of course? Li Jingshan flinched. Steward Zhuo, you know it's a trick, yet still go for it. What else do you expect from an upstart? You're saying all those sacred stones you wasted the past month are to be for nothing? Zhuo Fan smiled. The Grand Eight Emperors are high up on their throne, and hardly anyone could get close. The best way is to find some dumb and gullible moneybags who wouldn't want a friend, pawn like that. That's how you gain value, by joining their circle, taking back what you lost plus interest. Li Jingshan grinned. Steward Zhuo, you always look ahead. Then let's bid, but what's the price at right now? 8 million. Then we'll add one more. 10 million. A shout came first before Zhuo Fan got the chance, filled with power. Zhuo Fan's eye twitched, looking over. One of the 8 emperors. Sheng, we're not here to have some bet with the gambling emperor, nor do we have so many spirit stones. The map is all that matters. In the booth where the last bid came from, an elder with white eyebrows eyed Su Zhensheng with a grave look. Su Zhensheng smiled. Senior uncle, I'm buying with my own money for a girl. As long as she likes it, the price won't matter. It won't affect the sex coffers by a single stone. He then gave Fang Min a dazzling smile. She felt her insides tingle, then she preened at her junior sisters. See that my man knows how to please his girl. Envious much, ha ha ha. The girls nodded like good children, with only Chu Qingcheng depressed, her mind always on Zhuo Fan. Sir Liu, Sheng looked smitten with Amen. It won't be long before they tie the knot, ha ha ha. Third Aunt May giggled, showing her white teeth, a stark difference from how she acted around Zhuo Fan and Qingcheng. Her mind was another matter, however. Amen is good at this, having the kid wrapped around her finger. Humph, let him waste his money on the junk, and then they won't have anything left to bid for the Nether Sea map. Damn broad, going as far as using a honey trap. The elder frowned, reading her like a book. He says he's using his own money, but isn't your pocket money taken from the sect? We're in gambling town, and he should know its standards. What if you're wasting just that little bit of money? We might need to place a winning bid at the very end. How is that going to help the sect? The elder glared hard at Su Zhensheng. He caught his meaning but showed no reaction. Chasing girls is pricey. That guy used the elder's nagging to make the last fall for him, then elope. I'll just use money to buy a girl's heart. Isn't that the same? And regarding eloping, bringing the Ruby Cloud sect's head senior sister over to the Sword Emperor's sect will earn me bragging rights. Some glittering rocks can't ever compare to that. 20 million, Zhuo Fan shouted an even higher bid.